Going to start with the class rules as always, just to keep the space respectful, open, and focused on learning. So please note that this class is designated for beginners, so everything will be explained in a clear and accessible way. Advanced questions are welcome, but I do ask that you honor the pace of the room. Rule number one is this is based on my experience. Everything that I'm sharing comes from my personal journey, my studies, my mentors, my retreats, and my own research. Keep in mind, nothing I say is absolute truth. Take what resonates with you, and what doesn't, leave it where it is. Number two is respect different perspectives. Everyone's spiritual path is unique. What works for one person may not work for another, and that's okay. This is a space for learning, not debating or invalidating somebody's beliefs. Number three is keep the chat positive and respectful. Disrespect, negativity, or trolling won't be tolerated. I think I have like 6 of my moderators in here. So if they do see you being disrespectful, you will be ejected immediately. If you can't engage with an open mind, this is not the space for you. There's no unsolicited advice or corrections. Unless I ask for input, please allow me to teach without interruptions or what you would call corrections. If you have a different approach, that is beautiful. This class is centered around what works for me. The only exception to this rule is at the end of the live, after I get done teaching, you can correct whatever you want to. Lene said ASAP. You can correct me all you want to. We can debate. We can talk about topics. We can argue. I don't care, as long as you don't do it while I'm teaching. Yes, ejected. Melly, get them. So, number 5, no gatekeeping or one right way of thinking. Spiritual work is very, very diverse and traditions vary. There is no single correct way to do anything. Only what is true and effective for you. And number 6, engage, learn, and enjoy. Ask questions, take notes, and be present. You may want to write down your questions as we go, because I will be pausing between sections to answer them. This is an interactive space for growth, understanding, and deeper connection to the work. So, we're going to start with what spiritual power actually is. If you downloaded your class materials, if you did go to my website, I did create a student companion for this class as well. If you want to go download it real quick, you can. You don't need to. This is more so for you to have after the class is done. So it'll have a class recap. It'll have a chart of all of the elements that I'm going to go over today, protective elements, and how to use them. It has all of the systems that I'm about to go over. Of course, it also has the case studies. I have 3 case studies, and then I have, hey Pookie, then I have 10 different scenarios and rituals that you can actually use. As I always tell you, the rituals are just blueprints. They're not the actual house. So you will have to build the house yourself in order to make it work. So, if you want to go download the Student Companion real quick, it is on my website. If you want to download the visual materials so you can follow along, that is on my TikTok page. The post looks like this, and it'll let you download the photos. So I'm going to do the introduction. By the time I finish the introduction, it gives you, if you want, so if you're talking about the student companion that comes with this class, you go to my website, www.medusabykai.com. If you want to do it quickly, you can go to my profile, click the link tree that's in my TikTok profile, and go to the very first link that's on my profile. and then go to the menu and click free PDF. And when you go to that, it'll have all of the basically student guides from all my classes that I've been doing. Well, not all of them, but the last 3. And then if you want the student graphics to follow along with the class, this is on my TikTok page. It looks just like this. You go on there and click share and then download, and then select download photos instead of videos, and it'll download all of these. But for those of you who didn't get to download, I did put a little bit of it on the board as always, and we're going to start with what is protection. You're welcome, sweet mama. So, I had to drink some tea. Okay. Let me turn this music down so it doesn't distract me. Y'all know my ADHD will mess me up. Okay. So, every spiritualist eventually learns that power is not only about what you can call in. Shit. Okay. We're right here. What you can call in. Protection is the other side of manifestation, and without it, even the strongest prayers and petitions can drain, distort, or be disrupted. So wanting protection or doing protection has nothing to do with paranoia. It has nothing to do with fear, because a lot of people think I only need to do protection work when something is happening to me, and that's actually not true. It's actually about preserving your Ashe, which is your life force, your energy, your power, whatever you want to call it. It's your currency. Your spiritual power is your currency, and the protection is the bank, okay? It's what keeps the currency hidden, okay? So it holds, guards, and multiplies the energy you've built, making sure it isn't stolen or wasted. This class is built on a bridge between 2 of my teachings, my most requested classes, which is Digital Magick, and then my other class, The Bounce-Back. They're my most popular classes. So I'm going to do a brief overview of those classes just in case you are new to my teachings. So this class that we're doing today is a combination of Digital Magick and The Bounce-Back. In Digital Magick, we covered how the internet is actually not neutral at all. It's not safe. It's actually a ritual ground. So that means every post is a petition. Every algorithm is a spirit of its own. And even every scroll is a form of divination. So, and I explained this in my last class, but just as our ancestors shielded themselves before stepping into the fields or marketplaces, we have to shield ourselves before logging online. That class showed how simple tools like cloaking, energetic filters, and even something as ordinary as muting or blocking someone can act as protective spells in the digital age. And then the bounce back. In that class, we looked at what happens after harm is sent to you. So when somebody actually sends you some type of curse, some type of hex, jealousy, the evil eye, whatever you want to call it. We talked about justification. We talked about karma. We talked about return to sender. And we talked about what the difference is between return to sender and reversal. We broke down the science of why energy does not always return and why alignment, not morality, governs whether or not a working sticks. And how your authority determines whether you absorb, reflect, redirect what comes to you. That class was mostly about movement, like the push and pull of energy and how to make sure you aren't left carrying somebody else's shit. So that's what that class was. Today, I'm going to merge both of those classes together, and that's why this class is so long. But it will be recorded for all of you who can't stay the whole class. So I basically combined those two together to to make a complete system of protection. So protection in the digital world and the physical world and the spiritual world. So if Digital Magick taught us how to guard our presence in the new worlds that's being created in society now, and the bounce back taught us how to understand energy after it's already been set into motion, this class, the science of protection, is basically going to show us how to stand guard at all times. We will explore shielding, warding, and cloaking. Even though there are other types of protection, I'll briefly go over those. But the main chunk of the class will be about shields, wards, and, oh, you can't see it, cloaks, which is over there. But right now we're at what is protection. So, shields are quick, mobile boundaries that move with you. Wards are anchored protections that guard a place, an object, or a threshold. Cloaks are concealments, the art of making yourself energetically invisible or hard to see to any type of negative energy and to other people who might mean you harm. And together, if you layer all of those together, you can create a defense that is both practical, spiritual, old, and new. So by the end of this teaching, my whole goal is for you to understand what protection truly is, but I want to also give y'all the tools to actually apply to your real life, whether it's on a TikTok live, at your house, or at the workplace where people try to dim your light. I want y'all to really reclaim authority over your space, and that's the whole point of this class. So, when we talk about, let me push this back real quick so I can have some space. Turn my fan on too, and I got kind of hot. I want to see what your definition of spiritual protection is. While I'm going to go get my fan, I want y'all to type in the chat, what is your definition of spiritual protection? Okay, I'm back. Nobody? Even though I gave y'all the answer already in your class materials, don't look at that. Oh, no, you're cool. Y'all don't have to answer. I just was giving y'all something to do while I walked away. Let me see. Your first thought was a shield or force of positive. Yes, that is a version of protection, spiritual protection. For me, it's a shield for negative energy, ill intentions, and more. Yes. Staying grounded. You actually hit one of them, staying grounded with self. Yes. That is what wards are for, staying grounded. Shielding yourself from unwanted energy. Yes. To be covered from danger, harm, from the seen and unseen. I like that. Covered from negative energies. Yes. All of y'all are right. So, spiritual protection is the intentional practice of managing and securing your energy field so that it cannot be drained, distorted, or hijacked by outside forces. It's not about fear, like I told y'all earlier. It's about frequency. So, every single person carries a vibration that extends beyond your body, which is a living field. And I talk about this in a lot of classes when I tell you about your biofield. It's made of thought, emotion, and spirit. That field can either remain porous and vulnerable, or it can be trained to filter what enters and exit it. Can you elaborate on? That's going to be later on in the class. After each section, I'll allow y'all to basically ask questions so we can stay on track. But I will be going over exactly step by step how to implement everything. Like by the end of this live, y'all are going to know how to do this by yourself without having to hire another practitioner, okay? Well, you're going to have to put your own soul and beliefs into it, but you know, you're going to get the blueprint by the end of this class. So, as for the definition of protection, at its core, spiritual protection means learning, how to set your frequency with authority. When your energy is tuned, it resonates only with what is aligned to you, and it deflects or dissolves what is not. This can be done in many, many different forms, which we're going to go over in the class: prayer, ritual, physical tools like salt, iron, and on that chart that I showed y'all earlier. All of those things are going to be listed in the student companion for this class. And I'll go over the student companion at the end of this class as well, so y'all can see what is in it. You can even use breath work and visualization to create shields. But the principle still remains the same. No matter what tool you try to use or do use, you decide what frequencies have access to your field. That is the purpose of protection work. Spiritual protection is also layered. So it includes quick personal boundaries, which is considered a shield, environmental anchors that are wards, and subtle concealments like cloaking. Each layer works with the universal laws, which I'm going to go over as well. The main ones that we'll be going over today is vibration, resonance, correspondence, polarity, rhythm, and cause and effect. Similar to the ones we went over yesterday, but for a different reason. So to preserve your energy in different ways, you're going to need a combination of all of those. Together, they make sure that you're not living at the mercy of every single vibration that's around you, especially for empaths. It's very, very important to protect yourself before you leave the house. So in practice, let me drink some tea. You said, oh no, not tonight. Is my internet messing up again? Oh, okay. No, not okay. So it might be just you join the circle. Okay, so let me continue. So in practice, spiritual protection is actually both ancient and modern, because you know you have to adapt protection to the times that you live in. What we need to protect ourselves from today is different from there's more added on to it in today's age than it was back then. So our ancestors swept thresholds, prayed psalms, burned herbs, and wore charms to keep their fields clear. Today, we do the same thing when we block negative energy online, when we breathe to calm our nervous system, or carry protective oils on your skin. And I do want to say that protection is not a superstition. I don't want y'all to look at it as something that you're doing because you're afraid. It is energy management. You're managing your energy. You're managing your biofield. It's frequency alignment. You're aligning your frequency to what you want to come into your field. And it's actually a science of survival in everyday life. So protection is not about superstition. And it's not about being afraid of the world. Protection is about energy. Simple. Everything and everyone carries a frequency, just like a radio. So your body is always tuned into something, and I'm going to go deeper into that in the next section. When your energy field is unprotected, it is wide open. That means you can pick up vibrations that aren't yours, and that could be other people's emotions, stray spiritual debris, even intentional harm. Somebody's throwing something at you. Protection is the practice of setting your frequency that only what supports you can come close, while everything else gets filtered out. You can think of your energy like a speaker system as well. If you don't control the volume and the station, anyone can hijack the sound. Protection is how you set the dial. Spiritual wards and cloaks and shields are 3 ways of managing your frequency. So, like I said earlier, shields are the bubble that you carry with you. Wards are barriers that you set in an actual environment. And cloaks are ways of lowering your signal so you aren't even noticed. Hey, Jose. Together, they keep your energy field clean, and they basically tune into your own channel. You have your own channel that nobody can get on. And this is actually scientific, and I want to go over how it is scientific, but I do want to go over what I went over in a previous class when I was telling y'all about how your heart and your brain produce measurable electromagnetic fields. These fields actually extend several feet outside of your body. Your heart specifically, the electromagnetic field that your heart emits goes 6 feet outside of your body. So every time you come within 6 feet of somebody, y'all energies are actually mixing with each other. Your magnetic fields are mixing with each other. Somebody else can determine how you feel. You can, their vibrations can actually affect you if you don't shield and protect yourself. My bad, y'all. I did not mean to yawn. It's been a long day. So, when you are calm and centered, your field is strong and smooth. And when you are stressed or fearful, your field becomes chaotic, which makes it easier for other vibrations to actually influence you. Good evening. Oh, that's Melly. You were talking to somebody else. Where was I? Okay. So protection practices like prayers, oils, smokes, and even simple breathing reorganizes your field, and we're going to go over a lot of those. They bring your energy back into coherence so that you are not porous on the outside. So protection then is really about resonance, which I went over the law of resonance with y'all before. Energy only sticks if it has something to resonate with. That's what that means. So anger sticks to anger, chaos sticks to chaos, envy sticks to openness without boundaries. But when your frequency is set to clearly, misaligned energies cannot attach to you. It bounces right off of you because there is nothing inside of you for it to harmonize with. And that's actually the law of resonance. This is why protection is about authority, not fear. And when you are not hiding from the world, you are simply managing your vibration so that you remain sovereign in your own energy. So when we say protection and what it actually is, what we actually mean is energetic alignment. That is what protection is. It's about filtering your field, setting your frequencies, and keeping your vibration steady no matter what moves around you. That is real work. It's not easy either because you have to build a rhythm of it. And it's not just about deflecting attacks either. It's about creating an environment inside and outside of yourself where only energy that nourishes you can live. So when we get into the types of protections, shielding is the practice of creating a mobile energy boundary around your personal field. It functions like a bubble that you carry, that you carry with you, basically. Filtering what can come close to you, deflecting what is not aligned. Shields are raised quickly, temporarily, and best for immediate situations. So prayer, ritual, entering public spaces, or logging online. And keep in mind, I'm going to go over all three of these in depth in a minute. I'm just going over the definitions of them right now. Warding is the act of anchoring protective energy into a place, an object, or a threshold, like I said earlier, so that the environment itself becomes a barrier. Wards are rooted, they're ongoing and maintained through tools like red brick dust, which we're going to go over, iron, salt, plant prayers, and floor washes. I'm going to go over all of those in depth with y'all later on in the class. They are long-term protections that hold steady even when you are not present. So, then we get to cloaking. Cloaking is concealment. It's lowering your energetic signature so that hostile eyes, evil eyes, jealous people, or forces cannot easily perceive you. Instead of deflecting, cloaking actually hides you. It can be a physical cloaking, which are head coverings, muted clothing. It can be energetic, prayers for invisibility, smoke baths, or it could be digital, which is reducing your online presence. Cloaks make you less detectable without actually reducing your power. Because a lot of people think that cloaking reduces your power, but it doesn't. It just masks it. And then some honorable mentions I'm going to go over, but we're not going to actually go into depth in them. About them in the class. Amulets and charms. An amulet or a charm is a portable object that is charged with protective energy. Unlike a shield, shields are created from your own energy field. I'm going to show y'all how to do that. Charms carry its own vibration. You actually create a spirit to put into a charm to protect you. So that's how it's different from a shield. But you carry it with you just like a shield. As long as you keep it near, it works. So examples could be protective jewelry, crystals, mojo bags, even Bible verses written down on paper and you put it in your pocket. Those are considered charms or not talismans or amulets. When we get to excuse me. When we get to talismans and symbols are protective instructions written into matter. These could be crosses traced in oil, psalms taped behind doors, cosmograms like the one that I showed y'all yesterday, drawn in chalk. A lot of people do that. That's the most popular way to do it. Sigils inscribed on jewelry. Talismans function similarly, but they are charged symbols meant to hold protective frequencies for long periods of time. So symbols are just like for the moment or for a specific thing. Talismans generate that same frequency for a long period of time, like maybe 2 to 3 years. So, and then when you get to protective spirits and ancestors, spirits and ancestors can also serve as protectors, inviting them to stand guard at thresholds or calling their name during prayer. Places basically intelligent sentries at your side. Not like wards or charms. Spiritual guardians can actively discern and guide you through danger. A charm in a ward is not going to actively guide you. They're just going to protect you from anything that is not aligned with what you set into place. So, protective practices and habits is also considered a type of protection because sometimes protection is not about a tool, but a rhythm. So regularly cleansing with baths. I gave y'all an example of this yesterday with the case study with the grandmother teaching her granddaughter hoodoo. That's a type. Creating a rhythm, so wearing specific colors, and I'm going to go over colors later as well, or praying at sunrise, or are protective because they stabilize your frequency. When you go into a rhythm, it stabilizes you. So even setting digital boundaries like muting, blocking, and filtering people online is a form of protection when it's done with intention. So the laws that we're going to go over, that I'm going to mention, I'm going to go over the definitions real quick. So just in case there is somebody who doesn't know these laws, you'll know what I'm talking about when I do go over them, when I go into the deeper explanations of those three, the main 3 types of protections that we're going over today. So the law of vibration teaches that everything in existence is moving. Nothing is still, not even a stone. So spiritually, this means that every word, every thought, every action, every object carries a frequency. Protection works by adjusting the vibration of your Ashe so that certain energies cannot cling to you. And that's why the law of vibration is very, very important. The law of correspondence is, most people sum it up as above, so below, as within, so without. This means that the patterns in one realm are reflected in another. So a ward at your doorway is not just about salt on the ground. It is a correspondence between the visible and the invisible. The line you draw in the dust becomes a line in spirit as well. So as above, so below. So what you do in the physical affects the spiritual as well, is basically what that says. Then the law of polarity teaches that everything has an opposite, up, down, hot, cold, visible, invisible. Protection often works by flipping the polarity of energy. Okay? And I'm going to show y'all how to do that. A cloak, for example, takes visibility and turns it to invisibility. Remember, I told you that polarity is two things that have the same frequency, but they're going in different directions. Like love and hate are the exact same frequency, but they're going in different directions. Visible and invisible are the exact same frequency, but they're going in different directions. So I'm going to show you how to flip that energy. That's why the law of polarity is important. Then when we get to the law of rhythm, it teaches that everything moves in cycles. The tides rise and fall, seasons change, and energy ebbs and flows. So protection must honor rhythm. Shields fade because your energy cannot hold that pattern forever. They must be raised again. Wards must be refreshed. And I'm going to show y'all how to do all of that. Just as a floor must be rewashed, plants must be watered. Cloaks are not permanent. If you hide too long, your energy stagnates. So protection is strong when it flows with a rhythm. And then when we get to the law of cause and effect, I don't think I wrote that one up there. I didn't. I forgot it. So the law of cause and effect shows us that nothing happens without cause. Every action produces a reaction. In protection, this means that when you set a shield, it actively produces the effect of deflection. Welcome back. I just saw your message. When you lay red brick dust, you cause the effect of hesitation or blockage. And I'm going to show y'all exactly how. Keep in mind, I'm just going over definitions right now so people who are new to my teachings can follow along. So where was I? Oh, the red brick dust. I said that already. So when you ask the ancestor to guard the door, their watchfulness is the effect of your petition. So protection is never random. It is the effect of you deliberately causing or setting something into motion. What is most important is to understand that alignment, not morality, governs results. And I taught y'all that in the Bounce-Back class, that everybody thinks that morality is what moves things. But when you really look at the world, the good die young, the evil get rich. So you should know that morality has absolutely nothing to do with anything. It's all about alignment. And that's something that y'all have to remember. Alignment, not morality, governs results. The universe is not weighed on whether or not you're good or bad in a human sense. Energy does not move according to guilt or innocence. It moves according to resonance. So if your Ashe is aligned, your protections will hold. If you are out of rhythm, your defenses may falter. This is why two people can pray the same psalms and only one of you will find relief. One was aligned with intention, Ashe, and activation, which I told, if you're familiar with my formula, work equals intention plus Ashe plus activation. The other was reciting words without power behind them. So morality may shape how we choose to use protection, but it is the alignment with the universal law that makes it actually effective. Protection then in science and spirit, join. Excuse me, I keep yawning. My bad, y'all. It is the deliberate use of vibration, correspondence, polarity, rhythm, and cause and effect to preserve Ashe. Once you grasp that, you no longer see shields, wards, or cloaks as just rituals, okay? You see them as applications of universal law, practices that work because they are put into the very structure of creation, like the universal laws, natural law. There are many different forms of protection that we're going to go over, that we just went over. Each one of them has a place, and together they create a full landscape of how humans have learned to guard their energy. But for the purpose of this class, I really want to just focus on the three most essential and widely used, which I already told y'all is shields, wards, and cloaks. These are the protections that you are more likely to use daily, and the ones that give you a complete system when they're practiced all together. So shields cover your personal field, wards secure your environment, and cloaks allow you to move unnoticed when you need to. So understanding these three will give you the foundation to build all of the rest that I went over earlier. So does anybody have any questions about that particular section before we move into section 2? Is this it? Let me see. Yes. This is section 2. If you downloaded the class materials, we are on this page. And we're going to talk about the anatomy of shields. So we're going to take a deep dive into what shields actually are, how to use them, can any be used? Yes. I'm going to go over that. A ward would be used for your car. If I'm unable to finish your live, is there a place? Yes, it will be on Patreon, which my link is in my bio. Rena, if you're talking about are you talking about the class recaps, the paper form? If you are, go to my link tree. The very first link on my link tree takes you to my website. If you go to the menu bar, go to free PDFs, and you can download the last 3 classes, the recaps. Let me see if I missed anything else. And okay, yeah. So and they're free. All of my PDFs for my classes are free. You don't have to pay for them. Just go on there and click the download button. And if you don't want to download it, you can actually read it from my website as well. If you're using a computer, not a phone. If you're using a phone, you are going to have to download it. You're welcome. So, when we get to the anatomy of shields, shields are the most immediate form of protection because they move with you. Where a ward might be rooted at your home or in a car, you asked about a car, or a cloak might blend you into a background, a shield is a personal and mobile form of protection. It is the spiritual equivalent of carrying an umbrella on a rainy day. So you open it when you need it, and it follows you wherever you go. Shields work by creating a vibrational boundary around your Ashe, your energy, your soul, whatever you believe in, based on your belief system is what you would call it. In plain terms, that means that they set the frequency of your field so that only certain kinds of energy can get close to you. So a shield is not meant to last forever. I want y'all to keep that in mind. It is quick to deploy and time limited, usually lasting for a set duration, such as a prayer session, a ritual, or if you're having a difficult conversation, you can put a shield up. If y'all saw that picture, I don't even have the hard copy of the picture that I posted on my page when that lady took a picture of me with an old-fashioned camera, and it looked like there was a shield in front of me and behind me. That's what it would look like if you could actually see it. So, from a metaphysical perspective, shields operate under the law of vibration and the law of resonance. Everything vibrates, including your own energy field. So when you create a shield, you are setting your vibration to a protective frequency. Yes, that's why, Jose, and I'm going to go over that. Shields are energy consuming. So if you try to keep it up for a long period of time, hey sis, I didn't even see you enter. It will drain you. And that's why I keep telling y'all that it's time limited. You can mess yourself up. Anyway, because you're using your own energy field to create it. So, when you create a shield using your own energy field, you are setting your vibration to a protective frequency. So, resonance explains why this matters. Energies that do not match your frequency cannot easily stick to you when you do this. The way static cannot cling to a surface that has been grounded. This is why shields are described as glowing bubbles. Some people who can see them, because there are people who have the gift of sight that can actually see when people's shields are up. They say that they appear as bubbles. Some people say they appear as mirrors or straight lines in front of people, or they can just see a field in front of them. They are energetic filters that allow what is aligned to pass through while deflecting or neutralizing what would basically disrupt your Ashe. So every living being has a energy field. And when I say energy field, I'm talking about your aura. For those of you who are new. So I'm talking about aura when I talk about your biofield or your energy field. So this field is generated by your nervous system, your heartbeat, and even your brain waves. All of which emit a measurable frequency. So, and science actually confirms this through bioelectricity. The fact that our bodies run on electrical impulses. So, let me sit down. Turn this so I can still see the phone. Okay. Okay, so spiritually, this field is your Ashe radiating outward, or your aura radiating outward. It's not just an invisible light, it's actually information. So all of your auras contain information, vibration, and power, your personal power. So when you are unshielded, your field is porous, meaning things can seep through it. So other people's energies, their thoughts, their intentions can actually press in, leaving you tired. You feel irritable for some reason, you don't know why, or you just feel spiritually slimed, like it's just, you're covered in filth. A shield actually restructures your field, and it tightens the weave of your energy and raises its frequency. It makes it more dense. And it sets a vibrational filter that says this can pass, that cannot. You feel very tense. Yes, you probably continue to watch the class. So you can think of your shield as a membrane as well, or as a mirror. So as a membrane, it is selective, like the cell wall in biology. Y'all learn about the membrane that covers it. It allows some nutrients in, but it also blocks toxins. It's the exact same thing. And if you think of it as a mirror, it reflects what is not aligned, sending it back to the source. Shields are quick to deploy because you're working with what already exists inside of you, which is your energy field, your aura. You don't have to build something new, so you just reconfigure your Ashe to hold a protective pattern, because they are built from your own energy and they are time limited, okay? They will weaken as your attention shifts, especially if you put one up while you're doing something. Your energy will get used up and it'll make you extremely tired, or your external conditions will change. That is why shields must be refreshed and renewed often. So from an energetic perspective, shields are about resonance, the law of resonance. I keep telling y'all that. Harmful energy looks for something to cling to all the time. So if your vibration is set to the right frequency, the incoming energy cannot find hooks in your field. This is why shielding is especially important when you are emotionally raw, spiritually open, or entering a space with a lot of chaotic vibrations, especially if you're around frenemies, or family that you don't really fuck with. With a shield, you set the tone of your resonance before you even walk in to meet these people. So I keep telling y'all about the biofield. I can go over exactly what the biofield is if y'all want me to. Like I said, if you say yes in the chat, that you need me to go over what a biofield actually is, I will go over it again. If you don't, okay, one person said yes. So we're going to go over biofield again for those of you who don't attend my classes regularly. So every human body is electrical. So your heart beats because of an electrical signal. Your brain communicates through electrical impulses called neurons. I know y'all know what those are, firing. Even your muscles contract through tiny electrical currents. So science calls this bioelectricity. Oh, your first time here? Well, welcome. So the natural flow of electrical charge inside and around the body is what the bioelectricity is. Excuse me. So spiritual traditions call this life force, Ashe, Chi, prana, different words, same thing. All of them mean the bioelectrical field that your body produces. So your body is not just flesh and bones, it's actually a generator of energy, and this is a scientific fact, y'all. So this energy radiates outwards, forming what many traditions call your aura. I call it an energy field. So the heart is especially powerful in this. So the Heart Math Institute, and if you go to the student companion for this class, which is on my website, I have 2 books that I want y'all to read that talks about this. But the Heart Math Institute has shown that the heart produces an electromagnetic field measurable to 6 feet outside of your body. The brain does as well, but the heart's field is about 60 times stronger than your brain's electromagnetic field. So that means your emotions, your focus, and your intention literally change the electrical and magnetic bubble that you carry around you. So why does this matter when we're talking about shields? Because your shield is not something that is separate from you. It is the manipulation of your own bioelectrical field. Instead of letting your energy radiate out, it is a soft, porous, I keep using that word, way. You focus it, you condense it, you make it very, very dense, and you set it into vibration that blocks or reflects what you don't want. In everyday practices, shields can be raised in many ways, and we're going to go over those. Prayer itself is a shield. When you recite, you can say psalms, you can say actual prayers. You are drawing an energetic circle around yourself that nothing misaligned can enter. Clothing can be a shield. A head wrap consecrated with oil, a necklace fixed with protective herbs, or even colors associated with strength and authority all serve as coverings. Herbs like rosemary, rue, and hyssop burn as smoke, and I'm going to go over all of those, and I'm going to break it all the way down to the science later on in class, why to use those specific herbs. They create a temporary boundary around you, while protective oils rubbed on the skin or clothing charge the body. And I'm going to go over the different types of cloths. I'm going to go over cotton, I'm going to go over linen, and I'm going to go over silk and why they are important. Anyway, so All of these are examples of shields, like physical tools that you can use. In the digital world, shields are just as necessary. Before logging on, you can set an energetic filter around your presence. And this is not different from muting, blocking, or setting comment restrictions, but it works on a spiritual level as well, because when you cloak your energy before going live, when you filter your audience, or when you speak in intention that only those aligned with truth may see this, which is what I say before I start every class, you are building a shield in cyberspace. Just as in the physical world, this digital shield will not last forever. Shields do not last forever. It must be refreshed, reinforced, or reactivated each time you step into a new online space. So we're going to go over some everyday shield examples. So smokes and oils, passing through protective smoke or wearing anointed oils restructures your aura, just like ions in the air charge your mood after a rain. So, and then I told you all about clothing. And keep in mind, I'm going to go over all of these again. Just give me all the definitions. So clothing, you can choose muted colors of specific fabrics, cotton, wool. It helps regulate how loud your energy feels to others. So cotton, if you don't know this, carries a grounding frequency because it's plant-based. It breathes with your body and helps you stabilize your field by keeping your energy close to the skin. Wool carries a higher frequency, insulating frequency, because it's animal-based. It naturally repels static electricity, and this is an actual scientific fact, and it creates a buffer that holds and amplifies body heat and vibration. Linen, and if y'all know, most hoodoo practitioners, they get all of their whites in linens, and this is why. Has one of the highest natural frequencies of any fabric in the world. It's around 5,000 hertz in some studies, it shows. So it keeps the body's energy field elevated, and it resists stagnation. That's why you will see a lot of hoodoo practitioners wearing white linen specifically. Silk carries a smoothing frequency that reduces friction and static. It helps regulate flow in the energy field and make it feel calm and balanced. And then when we get to digital tools, blocking, filtering, muting are not just social media tricks. They are actually extensions of spiritual shielding when you do it with intention. A whole rabbit hole about linen a few months ago. I planned, yes, linen is it's the shit. Especially if you're doing a ritual. It's best to be dressed in all white and in linen specifically. So, when I use words like muting and filtering in this class, I'm not just talking about social media settings. I want y'all to keep that in mind. I'm talking about energy. So these words are modern ways of describing ancient truth. So muting means silencing frequencies before they reach you. Filtering means choosing what vibrations can pass through your field and what gets blocked. Speaking is not just talking, it's directing sound and vibration to organize your energy into coherence, basically. So even the colors that you wear or the way that you cover your head can shift how loud or quiet your field appears to somebody else. Even if you wear any type of color with linen, yes. And I'm going to go over colors later on in the class, and then I also have a chart in the student companion for this class that'll go over all of that as well. The student companion is like 30 pages of information. So, where was I? Okay. So, every color you wear. So, these are everyday practices that work as shields because they adjust your frequency. They reshape your energy field and they control your resonance. So, let's break these down. So, we're going to start with muting as a shield. So muting is the practice of silencing or limiting harmful inputs before they reach you. So spiritually, muting is a shield because it interrupts the transmission of vibration. And then when we talk about social media specifically, does what help? Tina? Are you talking about the linen? Linen actually amplifies. But let me finish this section and then I'm going to ask y'all, do y'all want questions, okay? Do y'all have questions? I don't know why I said want. So anyway, so when we talk about social media and muting, muting someone keeps their words and energy from crossing your field. In person, muting can mean refusing to respond to negativity or walking away from a hostile exchange. I will walk away, especially if people are gossiping in an area. I will walk away from the conversation so that won't enter my field. But that's what muting means. So the science behind that is your nervous system entertains to the frequencies around it. Remember, I told you that everybody's electromagnetic field goes 6 feet outside of their body, and that's a scientific fact. So if you are in a group with people gossiping about somebody, even if you are not saying anything, that energy is touching yours. You get what I'm saying? That's why muting, which is walking away, is the best thing to do. By muting them, you stop your body from absorbing chaotic vibrations and you keep your energy field coherent. Stop your body from absorbing chaotic vibrations and you keep your energy field coherent. Unfollow, restrict, block, and report. Yes. So an example of this is before you teach a live class, you mute disruptive commenters or filter keywords. Energetically, you've raised a shield that blocks interference and keeps your teaching space clean. I never understand why people allow disrespectful people to stay in their lives, and then they actually interact with them. I'm not doing that. I'm kicking you out immediately. Like the first time you comment some disrespectful shit, you getting out. The first time you annoy me on my page, I'm blocking you. I'm not going to allow that energy. That's how I keep my peace. So that is a type of protective shield. Whether you know it or not, you are protecting your bioelectrical field when you do that. So when we get to filtering as a shield, filtering is the act of allowing some energy through while blocking the rest. So you allow something come in, you block the rest, and it's similar to a coffee filter. So it lets the liquid through but catches the grounds of the coffee. Spiritually, filtering works the exact same way. So you set the intention that only aligned frequencies may reach you. And that's what I do before I even go online. Because if y'all ever notice, every single live I've ever had has been peaceful as hell. And that's why I have so many moderators too. Because I filter out. I want them to filter out all of that before it even reaches me. Half the time, I don't even see what people say. They tell me about it in our group chat after the live. Like, I had to kick this person out for so-and-so and so-and-so, and I didn't even see it. It never touched me. So you set the intention that only aligned frequencies may reach you when you do stuff like that. So online, this looks like comments filters or private account settings. In daily life, it's choosing which conversations you engage with and which you ignore. Scientifically, this mirrors the body's immune system, which constantly filters what enters your bloodstream. So a spiritual filter is your energetic immune system. That's what we're going to call it. Hey, Royalty, thank you for the gifts. It says yes to resonance, but no to distortion. So an example of this is you speak the intention, only truth and peace may reach me here. From that moment, your energy field works like a filter, letting encouragement through while blocking hostility. And remember, this is a type of shield. So you will have to refresh that. You will have to repeat that. You will have to, whenever you go online, you will have to repeat it. So when we go to blocking as a shield, blocking is the practice of cutting off access completely. And if you know me, I am notorious for blocking people. I don't mute except if it's on a live or something like that. I don't filter. I completely block people out. And that's how I keep my peace, because I have to, because of what I do for a living. I am a full-time practitioner. This is all that I do. I teach and I practice. That's it. So I can't allow certain energies, so I block people. I even block people who haven't did anything to me. If I see them in a bunch of mess online, I will block them, and I don't even know who they are. So I'm notorious for that, and that's actually a type of shield. So blocking is the practice of cutting off access completely. While muting reduces the noise and filtering screens what comes through, blocking shuts the door altogether. Hey, boo, I didn't even know you were in here. Okay, spiritually, blocking is the energetic equivalent of slamming a gate and locking it, basically. So you're declaring that this person, this energy or vibration has no path in your field. Blocking can be physical, which is not answering calls, blocking somebody on social media, refusing somebody's entry when they come to your house. Digital, removing someone from your online space. Or spiritual, naming and rejecting access in prayer, which our grandmothers and great-grandmothers and grandfathers and great-grandfathers used to do all the time. It works because access is resonance-based. If there's no line of connection, energy cannot travel. Hello. So then when we get to speaking as a shield, which is the law of mentalism, which I did not put up there, I just thought about it. The law of mentalism says that thought becomes word and word becomes reality, okay? So the human voice is one of the most powerful tools of protection. Sound is vibration, and vibration restructures your energy field. That's also the law of vibration. So when you pray out loud, recite psalms, or even declare, I am covered, you are literally vibrating your field into coherence, okay? So words are sound waves, and sound waves carry frequency. Your nervous system responds to vibration of your own voice, creating calm and stability that extends outward like a shield. An example of this is reciting Psalms 91 before walking into a courtroom. Doesn't just call on spirit, it creates a vibrational field around your body that stabilizes you and deflects surrounding hostility. Okay, so when we talk about colors and head wraps as shields, y'all know I always have a head wrap on. Always. Colors carry frequency because they are wavelengths of light, if you didn't know that. Every single color has its own frequency. So when you wear certain colors, you literally surround your body with that frequency. So red, for instance, is grounding and protective because it vibrates at a slower, denser frequency. Remember I said dense frequencies are for protection. Remember that. So they anchor your energy. White reflects all colors, making it a deflective and cleansing energy. So that's why we wear white. It actually reflects everything. Black absorbs, creating a cloaking effect. So you wear black when you're trying to cloak. Head wraps specifically are coverings of your crown, or your ori, whatever the belief system you are in is what you would call it. That's your energetic gateway. So wrapping your head not only honors tradition, but also shields your most vulnerable spiritual entry point. When negativity enters your body, more than likely it's going through your head. Okay? And as far as colors, that's actually a scientific fact. Colors are measurable light vibrations, and fabric is a conductor that interacts with your bioelectric electrical field, like I told y'all earlier. There's a difference between cotton, there's a difference between linen, there's a difference between silk, there's a difference between wool. You wear them for different reasons. So when you cover your head with an intentional cover, not cover, but cloth, or an intentional color or prayer, you're muting the signal of your crown so it cannot be easily tapped into, or drained. So, an example of this is wearing a white head wrap in ritual creates a shield of purity and reflection. Wearing a red scarf on a day that you anticipate conflict grounds your field, making it harder for the hostility to shake you. And then when we get to breath and visualization, inhaling deeply, and imagining light around you basically teaches your nervous system to project a boundary. My bad. I thought I turned my notifications off. Somebody must have put the ignore notification. You know, you can do that on the iPhone. So I was reading a message, got distracted. So the next, does anybody have any questions about any of that before I go into how to manipulate your bioelectrical field? What was wool? And keep in mind in the student, let me go back to it. If y'all want to go ahead and go download the student companion, if you go to the protective element, which is like the first thing after the class recap, the very first thing is protective elements reference. And I created a table for you, and it goes over all of the cloths and fabrics. It goes over the salt, lemon, pine, all the different types of smoke, iron, red brick dust, plants, oils. It goes over everything. Just in case y'all do miss something. Wanted to point that out. But, okay, wool carries a higher insulating frequency because it is animal-based. Hold on, I think I missed a lot. Hold on, y'all. Who asked the question about wool? I thought I saw somebody ask about wool. For the people asking how to, I'm actually going to go over, that's what the next section is. Speaking is the law of mentalism, sweet mama. Okay, silk, okay, Malie. So wool carries a higher insulating frequency because it's animal-based, so it naturally repels static electricity, and that's a scientific fact. It also creates a buffer and holds and amplifies your body heat and vibration. So it actually amplifies your bioelectromagnetic field or your aura, whatever you want to call it. What if you decide not to block people because you want engagement? How do you protect yourself? You can create a shield, or, well, you will have to create a shield, or you can do a cloaking, and I'm going to show y'all how to do those here shortly. What if you, let me see. So it's red for protection and grounding. Red is, yes, you can use red or black. Because black absorbs everything, so it cloaks you. So it will absorb the negative energy so it doesn't touch you. Does wearing a black hair wrap protect your aura from negative? Yes, it does. I had a family member drop by for 30 minutes, never wanted to be so rude. Tell them not to bring their ass to your house no more, girl. I smoke cleanse my phone. I do the same thing. And I think I told y'all this before, but I'll show you. when I am on live, this is always facing my phone. This is obsidian, but it's a mirror, as you can see, because you can actually see the reflection in here. But this is always facing my phone. You can use obsidian mirrors. I'm a crystal lover, and I also practice crystal workings. So I use a lot of crystals. I have a lot. What is the vibration behind the color purple? I would actually have to look that up. I have never used the color purple for anything. I know that the color purple symbolizes royalty, spirituality. It's the crown chakra. It can also represent the third eye too, certain shades of it. So it can help enlighten you. But as far as what the vibrational frequency is, I do not know. I just know what it symbolizes. But let's get back to this. So we're going to talk about how do you manipulate your bioelectromagnetic field. Goodness. I'm just going to say bioelectrical field. For everyone who missed this out, if you want to download the handout for this class, go to my bio, go to my link tree, click the very first link in the link tree. It'll take you to my website. Click the menu button and click free PDF. And then scroll down until you get to the science of protection, because I have 2 other ones on there too, but you can download those too, but the one that we're doing today is this one. I have a lot of amethyst, yeah. That is the stone for beginners. They either get amethyst or clear quartz. Is usually the first stone people buy. So when we get into how we manipulate the bioelectromagnetic field, that's when I was talking about breath and visualization. When we get into breath work, your breath actually changes your nervous system, if you didn't know that. So you can slow, deep breathing increases your vagal tone, and calming your body and stabilizing your heartbeat. This makes your electrical field coherent instead of chaotic. So a coherent field is stronger, like a focused beam of light instead of a scattered flashlight. And just in case y'all don't know what a vagal tone is, because I just thought about it, you might not know what that is. It's actually the measurement of how strong and responsive your vagus nerve is. And that's the longest nerve in your body. It runs basically from your brainstem down your throat, goes into your heart and your gut. That's what I'm talking about when I say your vagal tone. So it actually controls a huge part of your nervous system. They call it the rest and digest system. So it calms you down after stress. So when you have a high vagal tone, it means that your body can shift smoothly from stress back into calm, like instantly, easily. So your heart rate steadies, your breath deepens, and when you can strengthen it with breath work and visualization. So your digestion will even improve, and your energy field becomes coherent and stable when you do this. So it is important spiritually because a calm, coherent bioelectrical field is harder to penetrate with outside vibrations. So when you have a low vagal tone, it means that your system stays stuck in stress mode all the time. This is people who have anxiety problems. Your heart is racing all of the time. Your breath is always shallow, and your field is chaotic. I need to do a breathing. Yes, and you can find breathing exercises on YouTube. That's what I use, the ones on YouTube. It makes it easier for people's energy or even their spiritual debris to stick to you when you don't strengthen your vagus nerve. Sometimes I have to focus on breathing because, yeah, so you definitely need to look into breath work. Definitely. So, if y'all want to take one person to say yes in the comments, I can go over different practices that can strengthen your vagal tone if y'all want me to, or we can move to the next section. One person say yes, we go over it. Okay. So, practices that strengthen your vagal tone. My bad, let me drink some more tea. Include deep breathing, humming or chanting, singing, especially when you sing in gospel and things like that, reciting psalms, cold water rinses, you know, when people do those ice baths, that does, prayerful stillness. All of these stimulate your vagus nerves and improve coherence in your biofield and act like natural shields by stabilizing your frequency. So when you do visualization and intention building, that's when you imagine a bubble of light around y'all. If y'all ever did guided meditation, this is what I'm talking about. You are not pretending, and you can actually look these up on YouTube. They're guided meditations that teach you how to create a bubble around you, a shield. And if you practice it daily, like do 5 minutes a day, turn it into 10 minutes a day to 20 minutes a day, you will be able to hold your shields up longer. And then you have to keep in mind when you're doing this, you are not pretending. Because people be like, I'm pretending. No, you're not using your imagination. You're not pretending. You are instructing your nervous system to organize your biofield into a pattern. That is what you're doing. So visualization actually directs electricity the same way, and it wires direct currents into your biofield. And that actually strengthens your vagal tone. And then when you use your voice and your sound, and this is speaking, chanting, singing, reciting psalms, it actually vibrates your body and projects your frequencies outward. So sound waves literally move air molecules, which interact with your biofield. This amplifies your shield and gives it structure. And it also strengthens your vagal tone. So you can also use touch and gesture. This one is more spiritual. So you can place oil. Clarity oil is very good. And it makes me sad every time I talk about clarity oil. So I used to get my clarity oil from Miss Lisa. As y'all know, she passed away. I still have this bottle. I use it sparingly. I know how to make it, but I like hers. And unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to get it anymore. But so you would get something like a clarity oil or something similar to that. And you'll place it on your skin, trace a cross or a unk, whatever you believe in. Okay, see you later, sis. Love you. You have 2 of her oils. I have a bunch of them. And I ran out of her Moses oil, unfortunately. But, so, whatever you believe in, whatever symbol that you want, you will sweep them on you will trace it basically on your arms in a circle. It reinforces the shield through muscle movement and tactile stimulation. So you'll stimulate your muscles by massaging this oil into your muscles. And your body becomes a conductor that directs energy flow outward into form, touch, and gesture. This is when you laying of hands is what they call it, but with oil. And you do it to yourself on your body. That did not sound right. But anyway, herbs, oils, and smokes. Plants carry their own bioelectrical charge and vibrational signature, and I'm actually going to go over that in depth later on in the class about plants. But when you rub protective oil on your body or pass through cleansing smoke, you are actually layering another frequency into your field. And it's like strengthening a Wi-Fi signal by adding a booster. That's what oils and smokes do. It boosts your electromagnetic field. So, practices to manipulate your field into shields. And then after that, we're going to go over all of the different types of shields. So, breath and bubble practice is the one I was telling y'all about, and y'all can look those up on YouTube. That's when you sit still, inhale slowly, and imagine your breath inflating a bubble around you. With each exhale, that's when your breath is going out of you, you visualize the bubble glowing brighter every time you exhale. This entrains your nervous system to project a field. And you have to keep in mind, you're not pretending. You have to really focus to do something like this. And this takes practice to do, by the way. Palm friction technique. This is when you rub your palms together. Y'all probably seen somebody do this on live, because I know there's a guy on live that does this. You rub your palms together until they're warm. Then you pull them apart slowly. Most people feel a tingling or a resistance. That's actually your bioelectricity. And you can practice expanding this situation outward to form a sphere around your body. That takes a long time to master as well. I'm just giving y'all examples. Psalm shielding is something that hoodoo practitioners do. This is when you speak Psalms 91, 121, or 23 are the most popular ones aloud while visualizing the words, creating walls of light around you. The sound vibrates, organizes your biofield. Oil activation is what I told y'all about. You can dab oil on your crown, forehead, which is on top of your head, your forehead, your throat, and then your palms. These are energy gateways in your body. By sealing them, you direct your energy to hold steady. You can use mirror visualization. That's when you imagine your outer field become reflective like a mirror, like I said earlier, and harm bounces off. This is simple but effective way to train your field to reject what isn't aligned. And you do all of this through meditation. Almost everything that I'm going over now outside of the oil is through meditation. And once you practice this through meditation, you'll be able to do this instantly. Like, I'll run into somebody I really don't want to talk to at Walmart. I'll immediately put a shield up, and they won't even notice that I'm there. I do that a lot because I'm an introvert and an extrovert at the same time, but I don't like going out in public. So I'm mostly in the house, so when I do go out, I don't want people to see me. So that's what I do, so they won't talk to me. So, salt and water rinses. Salt conducts electricity and water stabilizes energy. And I'm going to go over salt in depth because it's very important. And I'm going to give you the science behind why salt is so important. I actually am going to go over frankincense and myrrh later in the class. So hold that question. So washing your hands or your face in salt water before entering a space can reset and strengthen your field. So why does all of this work? Because y'all think, a lot of people don't understand how strong the human brain actually is. You can use Palo if you want to. So, a shield is not just an imaginary wall. It is your bioelectrical field. And when you intentionally charge your field or you program your brain to create that field, breath provides the coherence, herbs and oils adds charge, and intention provides the program. Together, when you do all of that stuff, they create a living shield that follows you wherever you go. For as long as your energy holds the pattern. That's why shields fade if you're tired, distracted, or drained. They will fade away because they actually require you to maintain an energetic tone while you're using it. Just like holding your posture with your body, when you forget that you're holding your body up and your posture up, you will eventually start to slump again. That is how a shield works. So when we talk about, I'm going to do a short overview because I gave y'all a lot of information. If y'all want me to do the overview, to say yes. If not, we will move on Okay. So, overview, we're going to start with digital shields, protecting your online presence. Hold on, let me go tell my son to stop screaming at the TV. Okay, I'm back. It was multiple psalms. 121 is a good one, 23 is a good one, and 91 are the most used, if that's what you're asking me. If you are missing things, keep in mind that everything that I'm saying is in the student packet, the recap, because this class is extremely long and it's already 8:30 and we are not even done with the first section yet. So I won't be able to go back and repeat anything in the lessons, but if you have questions at the end of each section, I can answer a few of them. But everything that I'm saying is in the student packet. So, protecting your online presence with digital shields. So, transparent prayers over content. This is one of the ones I taught y'all in the Digital Magick class that we went over. If you missed the class, you're going to learn about it now. So, this is what I do. Every single video I post on TikTok has this. Well, on any social media. So I call them transparent prayers over your content. So before you post a video or a photo, you can whisper a prayer into it. Or you can use Canva or any other type of editing app, and you can put a prayer on it and then make it transparent. So every single time you post something, there is a prayer on it. You can actually attack people that way too, but I'm not going to teach y'all how to do that. But you can target certain people. Like if you have a hater that keeps watching your stuff, reporting your stuff, or doing stuff, you can put an actual prayer on a video and trap them. That's a type of protection. And just make it transparent. But you do have to whisper into your phone. You have to use your Ashe to do it. It's more than just typing something out and making it transparent. I have that too. Well, not anymore. Whoever it was reporting my videos, they have stopped. So, guess it worked. So, filters and keyword blocks. So using comments, filters, and block specific words, phrases, or accounts. This is a modern form of threshold warding. You are training your platform and your algorithm to automatically filter out frequencies the same way salt filters at your doorway. Transparent schedule, so intentionally posting at set times aligns with your energy cycles. For example, only posting when you feel strong and centered. That's actually the law of rhythm, moving in cycles. You can anoint your devices. So wipe your phone or computer with Florida water. Put it on a paper towel. Do not spray it directly on your phone. Put it on a paper towel. Wipe your phone with Florida water, oil, or smoke before logging on. Cloaking through limited sharing. So don't post everything in real time. Delay sharing personal moments until after they've already passed. And I tell y'all this all the time, but nobody ever listens to me. Do not post your work until it's at least a month or two after you've done it. Because there are people who will purposely interfere with your work just for the hell of it. And I'm talking about spiritual work. Don't post it on the internet unless some time has passed and it's already complete or it already has hit. Thank you, Queen. So, let me see. Where was I? Okay. So protective imagery or text overlay. And this is when I told you that you can do prayers and then make them transparent. You can also do symbols and make them transparent. This is crosses, verses, cosmograms. Um, it's like a watermark, but you make it transparent. And if you're targeting somebody, you can target somebody that way too. Muting, and this is, I'm going over all of the stuff. I'm doing an overview of everything I went over in the Digital Magick class and the Bounce-Back class, so y'all can catch up. So, muting and blocking with intention. So not just for peace of mind, but remember I told y'all that I block people ahead of time, people who don't even know me. If I see them like being too messy or super disrespectful in other people's comments, I don't even want that energy near me, so I will block people. You do it for spiritual energy management. You can even say stuff out loud when you block them. You have no access to my field. Blocked. Energy clearing between sessions. So after scrolling or going live, you can cleanse your hands, your screen with smoke or salt water. And I'm going to go over why salt is so important. When we get to spiritual shields, like protecting your physical and energetic body, I told y'all about breath and visualization already. I just went over that, so I'm going to skip over that one. Smoke and herbs pass through rosemary, rue, sage, and I'm going to go over why those are important. Anointing oils. I think somebody said frankincense and myrrh. That is one of them. Hyssop, rosemary. Head wraps and colors we went over. So cover your head and your crown and wear specific colors for the frequency adjustment. Red is for grounding, white for reflective, black is absorption, blue, peace. You get what I'm saying? Psalms and spoken prayers, reciting protective prayers. I gave y'all Psalms 91, 121, 23. Or if you are not a Bible person, you can use affirmations, you can use prayers, whatever your belief system is. Excuse me. Salt and water cleansings. So wash your hands, face with salt water before and after exposure to draining spaces. Mirrors and reflective surfaces, carrying a small mirror or a charm, or hanging mirrors at a threshold. Like I told y'all, I like to use the obsidian mirrors. Plants and natural guardians, and I'm going to go over the plants in depth because it's very important to take care of them because they are actual living beings. Especially living plants like rosemary, rue, and mother-in-law's tongue. If you don't know what that is, that's the snake plant. So whether you're online or in person, shields work by filtering resonance. Energy only attaches if it finds a match. So by muting, filtering, cloaking, anointing, whatever you choose to do, you are breaking the match and preventing the lock-on of the energy that you do not want. Scientifically, shields create coherence in your bioelectrical field. So spiritually, shields declare authority over your space. In both realms, the principle is the same. You choose what frequencies have access, and you train your environment, physical and digital, to honor that choice. That's what shields are all about. Let's see. So I'm going to go over when you can use shields. So you can use shields during spiritual work. So anytime you're praying, reading cards, speaking with spirits, or doing ritual or shielding work, a shield ensures that you are only open to aligned forces. You can do it in public spaces, like walking into a courtroom, which is very important to shield yourself when you're doing that. Hospital, workplace, or even a family gathering, anywhere emotions and energies are high, you should raise a shield. Sleep and rest. During sleep, your spiritual defenses are lowered. Raising a shield before you go to bed can actually block nightmares, psychic intrusions, or restless energy in the home. If you didn't know this, usually when you are cursed or hexed or something like that, or somebody speaking on you, gossiping about you, throwing jealousy, if you are highly intuitive, the first place they show up is in your dreams. If you want to remember that dream, it's best to put a shield up, so that psychic intrusion will actually resonate with you. And this is especially important if you are traveling or sleeping in an unfamiliar place as well. So if you are sleeping somewhere you're not familiar with, put a shield up. Healing and emotional vulnerability. So when you are grieving, when you're angry, if you're in a deep healing, your field is softer. It's easier for people to get in. So shields prevent others from unintentionally and intentionally feeding off of your openness. You can use shields during conflict or confrontation, arguments, negotiations, or any situation where you anticipate hostility are the prime times for shields. Teaching, speaking, or performing. So when you are visible, whether it's online or in front of a crowd, and you have a lot of people watching you, you are energetically exposed. Shields protect against envy, projection, or spiritual attacks that come with visibility. Digital presence. So logging onto social media, period, even if you're not going live. Or posting content, all warrant digital shielding. And the easiest way to digital shield is to put a prayer or some type of sigil or something on your videos before you post. After cleansing, so once you cleanse yourself spiritually, your field is freshly washed skin. So you are vulnerable, especially if you use salt. Salt strips you of everything. So it's best to put up a shield until you can gain that back. During travel, planes, buses, highways, anywhere you're traveling and you are in the energy of a lot of people, when you feel it in the air, that's all I can say. So when you feel something is not right, put your shield up. The hairs on the back of your neck go up, you start getting goosebumps, you feel a cold chill, put your shield up. The point is not to live in fear, because I keep saying that. It's all about living in authority and actually creating a rhythm. When you do this regularly, it becomes a habit and your shields are stronger and it's harder for people to touch you. Like I said, nobody is untouchable, but you can make yourself very, very, very hard to touch. So that's the purpose of shields. So next we're going to go into wards. Is wards on this? Yeah, wards is on there. And in this section, this is when we're going to go deep into salts, plants, red brick dust, why ions are important in spiritual work, why iron is important in spiritual work, because all of those are used to ward. And I'm going to break it down all the way down to the science. Anybody have any more questions about shields before we move to warding? How do you shield for a courtroom? You can say the Psalms 91 that I said before you go into a courtroom. If you can find some chewing John, you can chew on it before you go into a courtroom. It depends on your belief system, actually. There's a lot of things that you can do. And then you can do any of the things that I just went over, actually. The right side of the board, oh, we just haven't made it to that side yet. did print out the materials to follow along, we are on this page now. Where do you get, if you want to print out these or download these are actually on my TikTok page. So go to the video or the photo form that looks like this, because this is what the first page looks like. Go to the share button and push download, and then press photo instead of video, and it will download all of these for you straight from TikTok. I think it's like the third video from the last that I posted. If you are talking about the student companion, this is on my website. It's a PDF. It's 30 pages. And you go to my website, use the link in my bio, the link tree in my bio. It's the very first link on my link tree. Go to the menu button and push free PDFs, and it'll pull up all of these, because there's 2 other ones for the last 2 classes that I did. You're welcome. Okay. Did I miss anything? I said anything. Anything. Could you talk about the use of... I can't talk about the use of Psalms 109 specifically right now. But if you save that question to the end of the live, I will open the questions up for stuff like that. And I will actually pull out the book and read exactly what it's for, because I actually have a book that tells you what each psalm is for and what you can use it for. I will read it directly out the book. So please save that question if you stay here for the whole live, because I answer those type of questions at the end. Do I sell courses? I do Zoom courses where I teach way more than what I'm telling you now. Like, I really break it down, and I tell you step by step exactly what you need to do for certain things. Those are also on my website. If you go to my website and you scroll down until you get to Zoom classes, I have 3 of them that are about to come up. And you can, and I always record them. So I record the Zoom classes and then I post them. Okay, let me go ahead and get to wards, because this section is actually very long because of the amount of information about wards. So we are down here now. If you didn't print out those the student sheets, I put it on the board. So a ward is protection that is rooted in a place, object, or a threshold, and it keeps working after you walk away. So if a shield is your traveling umbrella, because remember I told you a shield is just like an umbrella. You use it when you need it. A ward is a fence. It's the lock and the porch light that stays on, okay? So it is an ongoing barrier that soaks into a space and sets the terms for what may enter, linger, or cross. In hoodoo logic specifically, we call it a fixed doorway. That's what we call wards. Or even a business page. You can actually do this to a business page too. So any space, even if it's digital, you can ward it. Okay. So that is the difference from a shield and a ward. So energetically, a ward is a standing field. So it's a pattern that stays in place. In physics, a standing wave forms when energy reflects back and forth, like into each other, basically. So that's what you create when you do a ward. And it does that until a stable shape actually takes hold. So spiritually, We do the same thing with prayers, materials, and repeated actions. We impress a pattern into the room until it remembers how to behave. So you basically, when you're doing wards, you're training your environment how to behave. And that's actually the law of rhythm that I went over earlier. And it actually is a law of correspondence too. They work together. So by tending a threshold on a schedule, that's the law of rhythm. So weekly washes, monthly refreshes, the environment learns the beat you set. And the invisible posture of the room matches the visible care that you give it, and that's where the law of correspondence comes in. As above, so below, as within, so without. So people feel it as soon as they cross the line. Like, people can actually feel your oh, okay, you were pinning a comment. Feel your wards when they walk into your home. So you ever walk into somebody's house and it just feels so light and refreshed and you just feel different? They probably have wards up. And the science is super, super simple. So this is where I'm going to go over ions, scents, and minerals and things like that, because they actually change how humans and spirits experience a place. So salt alters your ion balance and the humidity of a surface or a floor or a threshold, whatever you're putting it on. Lemon and pine release volatile compounds that signal clean to the body and calm your nervous system. And then when you get to smoke, prayer, and song, they actually layer frequency in the air. And repetition conditions both your biofield and the room, which is basically classical conditioning, but done with spirit. Almost knocked the thing over. So materials with strong physical properties like iron also have strong symbolic charge. Iron is actually ferromagnetic. If you don't know what that means, it's a metal that holds alignment. So in hoodoo, we say it bites. It's a metal that actually bites. So what doesn't belong, it actually bites it. It pins it. Red brick dust is rich in iron oxide. So that's what actually gives it its color. So laid as a fine line is both a social boundary because people hesitate to step across a marked threshold. So if you see a red line going across a threshold, you're going to think about it before you cross it. And it acts as a mineral boundary that says stop here. So not only does it stop somebody in the physical, it also stops spiritual. Plants are living wardens. So rosemary, rue, mother-in-law's tongue, which is the same thing as snake plant. They actually emit plant chemicals. I think it's called phytosines or phytosides. I don't know how to say it, but it's pronounced it's spelled PHYTONCIDES. And it changes the moisture of air. So while their very presence is actually a living spirit, they are actually emitting things into the atmosphere. And I'm going to go deeper in this right now. I'm just giving you an overview of them. So now that I basically gave y'all a lot in one sweep, that's just like the wide view. But I don't want y'all to leave here hearing words like ions, volatile compounds, ferromagnetic without actually knowing exactly what they mean. So I do want to go over them all slowly. So if y'all want me to go over all of them slowly, y'all can say yes in the comment, and I'll go over each one of those things I just went over in depth. Let's see. Okay. So first we're going to go over ions, scents, and minerals. So earlier I basically said that they change how humans and spirits experience a place. And I actually mean that in the simplest way. The air and the ground carry energy that your body can actually feel. And an ion is just a tiny particle with an electrical charge, if you don't know what an ion is. You can't see it, but your skin and your breath are always interacting with these charges in the air. The air is full of ions. Thank you for the gifts. And when the balance of ions shift, say at your doorway, I made a little bitty door here. So if the ions shift at your doorway or on a freshly washed floor, the air actually feels lighter, cleaner, and calmer to your body. So scent works the exact same way. So when you smell lemon, pine, or smoke, those scents actually go straight to the part of your brain that controls your memory and emotions. That's why a clean smelling room makes you relax and a musty one makes you tense up. Minerals like salt, brick, and iron also change the feel of the place. So they work on the surface level at the floor and then at the threshold or the corners of your home. If you didn't know, your floor, your threshold, and the corners of your home, these are actually called gateways. So these are the places where your body is naturally most alert. Spiritually, these spots they're just considered gates. Physically, they are points where your senses are paying the closest attention. So when you tend to those places with salt, scent, or minerals, you just don't just clean them, you are tuning them. So you shift how the air actually feels in those spaces and how the ground holds energy and how spirit actually reads the place as well. So that's why when you step into a doorway that's been cared for, it feels different. So salt, brick, and iron don't just sit there as objects. They actually reshape how the place is experienced. And where you put them actually matters just as much as what they are. So our ancestors actually knew that certain parts of your house or your room act like open doors for energy. So like I said earlier, the corners, the thresholds, and the floors are more than just building features. They're gateways. So they are the spots where energy enters, collects, or settles, which is why they must be watched and tended to. So if you understand the gates, you actually understand where your focus of your protection is supposed to be when you do your wards. So a gate is basically a place where inside and outside touch. That's what it means. Similar to the crossroads, that's considered a gateway because 2 points are merging with each other. So it's the exact same thing for your home. So when one state flows into another, it is considered a gateway. So spiritually, those are the points where things enter and exit more easily, spiritually and physically. Those are the places where your body is most alert as well, without you even realizing it. So we're going to go over thresholds first. And thresholds are the doorways. Every single doorway in your house is a threshold. So they are gates because they separate one environment from another. So crossing from the street into the home, that's like coming from the outside, going into your house, from a hallway into the bedroom, or from one room into another is more than just a change of scenery. It's a change of vibration. So the air, the light, the humidity, and even the sound waves are always slightly different on each side of a doorway, all the time. So your nervous system actually picks up on that instantly, whether you know it or not, which is why a well-kept doorway always feels welcoming, and a neglected one feels heavy. So spiritually, the threshold is where energy and spirit must declare themselves before coming in. You know, they say vampires can't enter a threshold because the energy is different than the outside. That's why traditions all over the world lay salt, brick dust, prayers, or charms at their doors specifically. Like I had my aunt and my grandmother used to do this. They used to put blessed oil on white cloths and hang them above every single doorway in the house. And then when we get to corners, they're gates because they are collection points. So energy doesn't always flow smoothly. It travels in waves and patterns, and when it hits a corner, it tends to settle there because there's nowhere for it to go. So just like dust is in a house, spiritually, corners are where most of your stagnant and lurking energy likes to hide. That's why sweeping, sprinkling, or posting iron, because a lot of people put iron in all the corners. Yes, sea salt at the door too. Now I'm going to go over all of those elements here shortly too, in depth. And I'm going to explain exactly why we use salt in a minute. Where was I? Okay, so basically everything tends to settle in corners, and most hoodoo practitioners actually have iron in the corners of their house. So by tending to corners, you actually stop energy from pooling there, and you keep the flow of the room clean. And then when we get to floors, we consider floors as gates because they are the foundation. They're where the body actually touches the ground and where energy from outside is tracked in. So that's dirt, water, whatever going on, snow. I used to track sand in the house all the time when I lived in Florida and we went to the beach. It would be everywhere. So it all settles on the floor first. So spiritually, the floor carries the memory of what has crossed it. So that's why floor washes are so important. They don't just clean the surface, they reset the entire vibration of the room from ground up. So when you wash a floor with intention, you're teaching your entire house. Because remember, I told you the whole point of wards is to train your environment how to behave when you're not around. That's the whole purpose of it. Basically wash your floor with intention, and this is how we what is it? Sorry, my son.
Give it a hug.
Yes. Okay. He wanted a hug, my bad. Where was I? Oh, okay. So when we call thresholds, corners, and floors gates, we are saying that they are transition points. So that's what a gate is. It's just a transition point, very similar to the crossroads. Places where energy passes, collects, or rests. And those are exactly the places that you actually want to watch, tend to, and fortify when you're doing wards. If your gates are strong, the space stays clear. So when we talk about salt, thank you, Tabitha. When we talk about salt, it is one of the oldest tools for protection because of how it works both physically and spiritually. Scientifically, salt is what we call hygroscopic. That means that it actually pulls water out of the air. So when you lay salt on the floor or mix it into a wash or water, it changes the little layer of moisture that is always sitting on the surface of things. That shift makes the space feel lighter and fresher. Spiritually, salt is also known to draw in and neutralize. So it basically pulls in heaviness, confusion, harmful energy into itself, and then it holds it there. So it doesn't cling to you. This is why people have used salt for so long across doorways. They sprinkle it in the corners. They put it in baths because it's like setting out a sponge. It literally soaks up everything. That's why people use salt. So it basically catches what doesn't belong before it even crosses the line. It absorbs and traps, basically. When we talk about lemon and pine work through scent. So when you peel a lemon or crush a pine needle, you release something that's called volatile compounds. Basically, they're like tiny natural chemicals that float right into the air right when you break it. So two of the main ones is limonene, which is from a lemon, and pinene, which is from a pine. Those compounds travel straight into the part of your brain that handles your memory and emotion, like I told y'all earlier, and that's called the limbic system, by the way. So it travels straight into your limbic system. That's why a lemony room instantly feels safe when you walk in, or clean. When pine gives you grounded, fresh in the woods feeling, spiritually these scents do the exact same thing. They push out heaviness and signal your mind and spirit that this place is clear, this space is safe. And that's why lemon and pine are common in washes for doors, floors, and altars. Yes, you should do it. You should get some pine. Go to a pine tree. You can actually make a spiritual water out of pine. If you go to a pine tree, collect a lot of pine, stuff it in a jar, fill the jar with vodka. Easiest way. Leave it for 4 to 6 weeks in a dark place and shake it every single week, at least once a week, once or twice a week. And you can do the same thing for lemon. And you can take a bath in it. You can spray it on yourself when you're out. So when we get to smoke and prayer, we call these the air tuners. So when you burn herbs like rosemary, cedar, and sage, the smoke carries tiny plant chemicals called phytocides. I think that's how you say it. They protect the plant in nature, and when humans breathe them, they actually help calm your nervous system. So smoke also changes the charge of the air, making the space feel like it's reset. Now, when you add prayer and song to smoke, because keep in mind, I said we're talking about smoke and prayer put together. Speaking words out loud sends vibrations through the air. So your voice literally reshapes the atmosphere while you're smudging. So when you repeat the same prayer or the psalms at the doorway or your altar over and over again, you are conditioning that space to carry that vibration even when you're not there. Like I said, warding is all about training your environment to behave a certain way when you're not there. Basically, it's just like teaching the room a song. So after enough repetition, the walls themselves start to hum the prayer itself. That's a belief of animism, which I went over yesterday. The belief that everything has a soul, everything has an energetic frequency. You can change the frequency of walls by what you do in that room. So singing the same thing, praying the same thing while smudging over and over again, you're actually training your home and creating a ward. So spiritually, that means that the space remembers and anything misaligned feels out of place there. So that means that you can walk into a room and immediately know something's not right. Somebody done sent some type of spirit or hex to you and they send it to your place, your home. You will immediately know as soon as you walk in your house. Yes, exactly, Jen. And that's actually the law of vibration. Everything is alive. Okay. So let's talk about iron, which is used in I think almost every single spiritual tradition that I know of uses iron. And we call it the biter. We say that it bites. So iron is powerful because of how stubborn the metal actually is. And I'm talking about scientifically, it's like one of the most stubborn metals out there. So like I told y'all earlier, it's ferromagnetic, which means that its particles naturally line up and hold alignment by itself. It doesn't need anything added. So basically, iron doesn't scatter easy. It stays fixed all the time. So spiritually, that property is why iron is used to bite down or harm or pin something to the ground. So a lot of people, they nail one in their door frame or right outside their door, depends on how your house is set up. Or some people do it in their yard. Because I know people who like get the iron railroad spikes and they'll put it in the four corners of their property. That's another way to do it. Or you can use a horseshoe. A lot of people put horseshoes above their doorway. And it's not just a tradition. When you see this, it's a way of using matter that holds order to command the space to hold order as well. Oh, you have a whole iron gate. But basically, iron grabs, it bites, and it holds down. That's why people use it. It's something that resists what doesn't belong, basically. So that is why people trust it as a long-term ward, meaning that you don't have to keep replacing it. You just leave it there. Red brick dust. So red brick dust is basically nothing but ground up red bricks. That's all it is. But what makes it special is the iron oxide that's inside of it, and that's what gives it its red color. So iron oxide is another form of iron, so it carries the exact same grounding and holding energy. So physically, red brick dust is dry and rough, so when you sprinkle it in a line across your doorway, it actually makes a boundary that you can see and feel. Spiritually, that line becomes both a mineral and a social boundary. Spirits sense the iron as a stop here vibration. If you didn't know, spirits, iron deflects spirits. I'm not sure if y'all knew that, but when you put iron, especially red brick dust, it's considered iron too. It basically tells malevolent spirits, stop. You cannot cross. So people, even in real life, when people see that red line, they hesitate before they cross over it. Especially if they know you're a practitioner. So even if they don't know the tradition, something about that line tells them to pause, and that's why red brick dust has been trusted for centuries. It works on both the seen and the unseen. Heard to only get brick from an old destroyed church anywhere else. Never heard that. Hey, Kev. I've never heard that you only can get it from a certain place. All red bricks have iron oxide in it. You can get it from a church for that extra spiritual, because you know what happens inside of a church. If you want it to be like extra powerful and already spiritually charged, you can get that, but you don't even know if the people in that church were holy. You get what I'm saying? So no matter what you get or where you get it, make sure that you leave an offering, show your respect, but also when you get it home that you put your own intentions in it. Like you cleanse it, strip it. You can mix salt in with it to really strip it, and you put your own Ashe into it before using it. All walked in bowing, and they around your fireplace. So when we get to plants as living guardians, they are not just decorations. They are living spirits that breathe, emit energy, and guard spaces. Like if you outside of my office, because I have a different door for my office, so when you walk outside, I have a line of plants lining the front of my office, and then I have some in my windows as well, and this is why. So scientifically, plants release water vapor into the air, and they also give off protective chemicals, the phytocides that I was telling y'all about. That's why the air near a healthy plant feels softer and fresher. Spiritually, each plant has its own medicine. So rosemary brings clarity and alertness. Rue warns and drives away the evil eye. The snake plant is a tireless guardian. Like snake plants are the best plants to get. My ancestor altar, the candle just popped really loud. I wonder what that was about. Anyway, so snake plants are the best ones to buy because they actually purify the air. That's a scientific fact. And they stand strong even in tough conditions. So their presence actually changes how a doorway feels. Most people put them at their doorway, and they signal for the space that the space is tended and alive. Cactus is good too. You have 3 snake plants? Yes. They are the best ones to get. Because they are living, plants have to be cared for. So remember that. So water them regularly, give them light, wipe dust from their leaves, speak to them, sing to them, offer them clean water, kind words, the same way you would an ancestor. You would treat them the same way. When a plant is healthy, its spirit is strong, and it's actually willing to help you. If y'all ever get a chance, I think I showed y'all this book already. You should buy this book, The Source Field Investigations. This book, basically, they did a study on plants, and they found out that they're actually conscious beings. If you want to read about that study, you should get that book. I should have put it on the book list and the student things, but I'm just now thinking about it. So it's actually more stuff in there too, but that particular study is in there. So they're more willing to help you, basically, if you take care of them. And keep in mind, if you are taking care of your plant, you're doing everything right, and all of a sudden it wilts or dies, despite you taking care of it, I promise you, it's probably a 99% chance that it intercepted something for you. Like it took the harm to stop you from getting it. Plants are very, very protective when you take care of them, just like an animal. Let me know when you screenshot it. My bad. I'm trying to get the whole book. Hold on. Let me try to hold it with both hands. I dropped my thing. It's so hard to do this because my camera is reversed, so I'm doing the opposite of what I'm supposed to be doing. Damn. Okay, there we go. Let me know when you got it. Say got it when you got it. Okay, cool. But I promise you, if you treat your plants like they're babies, they will defend you. They will be extremely loyal to you. So if one of them dies suddenly and you don't know why, you're taking care of it and all of that, it probably took a hit for you. So plants ward off wandering spirits, jealousy, and stagnant energy simply by radiating their life force day and night for you. So when you bring all of this together, traditional public safe tools make clear sense when you understand the properties. And that's why I went over like iron spikes. Okay. Get my pointer. So iron spikes, tiny tacks, anything that's iron provides a spine for the field. Strong directional field, basically. Salt is ionic. So it draws, it holds, it neutralizes. Perfect for catching heaviness at thresholds, and it washes. Red brick dust, and I'm just doing an overview of what I just went over. Red brick dust draws an invisible line and sets a rule. Cross only in peace. Protective plants stationed at doors function like living sentries. So they're continuously radiating their pattern and giving you visual feedback when something is off, like they're wilting, leaning, suddenly breaking, if they suddenly die, things like that. You just pay attention to them. Floor washes are the practical engine of warding. So they basically remove physical residue, and then they, when you add salt, lemon, pine, or any other herb that carry a charge, a cleansing type of charge, you direct that wash and encode it to do what you want it to do, which is pulling in peace, pushing away mess, whatever you are training it to do. So your house actually learns the flow that you prefer. And this is actually the law of cause and effect, by the way. So just remember that salt pulls and neutralizes, lemon and pine resets, smoke and prayer. And all of this, even though I keep repeating this, all of this is in here. It's the very first thing is a chart that has everything that I'm telling y'all. It tells you salt, lemon, pine, everything. It tells you the spiritual uses and the science behind it in that chart. So download this. So basically the difference between shields and wards is about time, source, and scope. So a shield is powered mostly by your Ashe that is inside of you. You download that on my website. So if y'all want this, so if y'all want the recap, the class recap that I do, you go to my link in my bio. The first link in my link tree is my website. When you get to my website, go to the menu bar and go scroll down, or however your phone is, whatever type of phone you have. When you go to the menu bar, just go to the free PDFs, and you will pull up all of my class recaps. And this is the very last one on that page, and you can download it. But it's 30 pages, and it's basically everything I'm going over, along with some homework. There's a recommended reading list, a glossary of terms. It's a lot of stuff. It's basically a companion to the class for beginners. Okay, so where was I? Oh, I was telling y'all the difference between shields and wards. A shield is powered mostly by your current Ashe, so your bioelectrical field is what creates a shield. When you get to a ward, it is powered by anchors. So it's anchored guardians. That's what a ward is. So you set the environment plus your periodic refresh. So a shield surrounds a person. A ward saturates a place. Got it? And then don't forget about those gates too. It's threshold, corner, floor. And thresholds are, if y'all don't know what thresholds are, any place that you can enter. So that includes windows, because I don't think I mentioned that. That's considered a threshold. Any place that you can enter a home is a threshold, or enter a new space is a threshold. So I'm going to go over some honorable mentions. So basically other things that you can use as wards outside of the main things that I just said. So you can use symbols as wards. So symbols are instructions written into a space. Oh yeah, windows, salt, red brick dust, all your windows. Especially when you, well actually, you might want to smudge your house first with your open windows, and then after you smudge it, then put the red brick and salt down. So make sure you smudge and get the stuff out first, and then put it down. Just in case you've never warded your house before, start with smudging your whole entire house and then put your wards, because you're going to end up trapping something inside. Yes, you can do a mirror at the windows. I actually have a mirror outside of all my doors. Obsidian mirrors. So yes, that's something I do. Okay, I was on symbols as words. So a symbol basically are instructions that are written into a space. What that mean? Every time that you smudge, you would put. You can, yes, you can. I would, but I'm OCD, so when I clean, and like I redo everything. Like I told y'all in another live, when I refresh my ancestor altar, I refresh it. I buy new dishes, I buy new frames I buy new cloth. Like I refresh. But that's a personal preference. You don't have to do that. So, symbols are instructions written into a space. So they work because patterns and meaning change both human behavior and subtle energy. So the brain reads the sign, the nervous system shifts the tone, and the spirit follows the order. And this is when we talk about symbols. So a simple cross traced in oil on the inside of a door tells the threshold to align with protection. And my grandmother used to do that. She used to get blessed oil and put crosses. And then a simple cross, not a simple cross, an X, marked discreetly under a doormat or on the subfloor creates a stopping point that many will not cross who have ill will. That's what X's are for. And that's it. You can do that in chalk or like blessed chalk after you bless it. And I say chalk, but I'm actually talking about eggshell powder. When I say chalk, that's what I'm talking about. I just thought about it. I'm not talking about like you go to the store and buy some chalk that kids use. I'm talking about eggshell powder. But that creates a stopping point. You can also use a cosmogram like I showed y'all yesterday, the original cross. You can draw it in chalk as well. And it basically anchors life and death in return at the gate, so no chaos will settle at your house. You can do psalms, lines. You can tape them to the back of your door or tape them in between the door jamb. What do I smudge with? A lot. Like if I turn the camera around, I have white sage, I have blue sage, I have black sage, I have white sage with dragon's blood resin, I have cedar, I have rosemary, I even have lemongrass, like long smudged things of lemongrass. I have lavender, so it depends on what I feel like smudging with. I have so much. All of them have different meanings. I can go over that at the end of the class. And then you can also use spirits as wards. So a ward strengthens when a sentry is what we call them, is posted. In Hoodoo specifically, ancestors are the first and most faithful guardians you will have. So I don't want to say really posting an ancestor at the door, but asking an ancestor can, and you can do that by just simply like setting a glass of clean water at the door, lighting a candle and speaking their names, and then ask them if they will perform that task, and you will get the message. You will know if they will say yes or no. So you can do that. And that's another honorable mention. And if y'all would like, I can do an overview of what I went over in the class. Like I did earlier when I did the overview for the Digital Magick class, but I can do another overview just in case y'all did not. So say yes in the chat if y'all want me to do the overview of the class this class Remember, I told y'all that this class is a combination of two of my most popular classes, my Digital Magick class and my Bounce-Back class. Okay, so I'm going to do an overview of the information that was in those classes real quick. So, marking as wards, that means physically and spiritually drawing lines or symbols to set rules in place, and that's when I was telling y'all about the cross and the X. And it also includes red brick dust, sprinkling salt. You can make symbols, and it also includes red brick dust, sprinkling salt. You can make symbols with any of those things. Chalking, which is with the eggshell powder. You can even use oil to do that. So when you're anchoring as wards, anchoring means fixing protective energy into the ground, the corners, or the threshold with lasting materials like iron, nails, and spikes, or the horseshoe. So driving iron nails in the four corners of your house, of your property, not your house. And if you want to, if you can find those little iron nails, matter of fact, I have some, hold on. I actually have horseshoe too, an iron horseshoe. But this is fashioned into a cross, but these are what the iron nails look like when they're not a cross. But you can actually, if you have wooden floors, you can put these and nail these into the corners of your house. A lot of practitioners do that. So driving iron nails into the four corners of a room, it pins down the vibration so energy cannot freely go out, in and out. And then layering as wards. So layering involves combining different tools. So that's like using plants, washes, and charms. So the wards work on multiple frequencies. In the last class, I also talked about speaking and repetition of wards. So wards are fed by rhythm. Like I told you, you're training your environment to behave a certain way. So speaking prayers or psalms consistently at thresholds imprints their vibration until the space remembers. And a good psalm for your house, if you do use the Bible, is Psalms 24. Guardians as wards, which we already went over, those can be reinforced by posting guardians, which are plant spirits, regular spirits. It depends on your belief system. So any spirit in your belief system, any of your ancestors, or symbolic figures placed at thresholds. So if you work with saints, things like that. Maintenance is a ward. So unlike shields, wards they don't fade quickly, but they still need to be refreshed. So broken lines, so that's like you were saying that, do I need to redo the red brick and the salt? More than likely, you're probably going to have to redo it every month. I do my cleansings every month, except for my altar is every week. But if you see something is off, or a nail has fell, or the horseshoe is no longer straight, you do need to refresh it. And this includes wilted plants. Take care of your plants, prune them, like cut off leaves that have died, so it doesn't infect the rest of the plant. Or rusting nails. If they get super rusted, you can take them out, you can clean them. There are solutions that clean iron. And then you can re-put them in. So basically, maintenance is the same, is rewarding. Hey, that could have been a play on words, because rewarding and rewarding, get it? Yes, Jeremiah. Hold on. Okay. Thank you so much, Shanti. Where was I? Think I did that. Let me see. Went over that one. Anchoring, did that one. So, that's all of them. So, wards function as anchoring vibrations into place. So, until the environment itself enforces the rule, salt drains, iron locks, and remember there's a chart in the student companion with all of this stuff. Plants radiate and words condition. So together, when you use all of these together, they create a layered barrier that stands whether or not you are consciously paying attention. So the environment will behave a certain way even if you're not there. And in science, it's called environmental conditioning and resonance. The law of resonance, the law of rhythm, and the law of correspondence. So what you place in matter is mirrored in the unseen. And finally, wards require maintenance. And do not get anxiety thinking, do I need to change this every week, every month? Don't let it bother you like that. Don't create anxiety around it. Just whenever you remember to refresh it, refresh it. And if you have plants and you're taking care of them, it's easy. My favorite thing to use is plants. And so they are in relationship with your space. So signs that they need attention include a broken brick dust line, plants that droop despite being watered, a floor that never feels done, or dreams warning you about the front step. Like if you have dreams about the front porch or anything like that in your house, it's a sign that you might need to refresh your wards. Refreshing the wash, relay the lines, speak the psalms again, and touching the iron at the corners resets the pattern. So, or even blowing. A lot of people blow their Ashe onto iron. So over time, the house learns you and learns how you want it to behave, and that is anchored protection. That is warding. So it's rooted. It's staying rooted, basically. So why and when will you use wards? Number one, the very first one. Hey, mama. The very first one is protecting your home. Your home is your base. If energy seeps in unchecked, you and your family are constantly battling heaviness, arguments, depression, or illness. Number two, guarding spiritual workrooms and altars. Like, this is my spiritual workroom. I do nothing in here but spiritual things. So, a room where you pray, divine, or perform rituals must stay spiritually high and undisturbed. Unchecked energy can taint your work, especially if you're doing work for other people. Do I have wards on my site? That would be considered a special request, Kev. So if you want me to like create a plan for you, because y'all know I write rituals and ceremonies as well. So I have a writing service. So if you want me to write you out a plan, I do that. If you want me to actually create a package with a bunch of different wards that I can send to you, that would be considered a special request. So you would scroll down my website and fill out that special request form that's on there. Whatever you don't see on my website, I probably do it, and you just fill out the special request form. Let's see. Where was I? Protecting, did that one. The workroom. So if you are trying to ward like your prayer room or something like that, where you do spiritual work, you can place 4 small iron nails in the corner of the room. That's the best way to do it. Anoint with oil. Make sure you anoint the iron with oil. And that's the easiest way to do it. Or you can do like I do and do everything. The plants, the iron, the obsidian mirrors, everything. But that's because I have OCD. So, securing doorways and windows. Those are thresholds. So doors and windows are gateways where energy enters. If left unguarded, negativity rides in with every single footstep or breeze that blows in. So, an example of this is washing the doorway weekly with pine or lemon floor wash, or monthly. Then wiping down the frame while reciting Psalms 24. I told y'all that's a good one for your home. Business, work, or online presence is another one. So where money and visibility are involved, jealousy and spiritual attacks often follow. Unfortunately, that is the world we live in. So anchored protection keeps it flowing steady. So setting a plant like the snake plant or rosemary near the entrance of a shop, or digitally warding off on your business page by pinning a protective statement or a prayer at the top of your page, or like on my website, you can't see them, but a lot of those photos have prayers. They're just invisible. You can't see them. You can do that as well. Another time to do it is after cleansing or ritual. So cleansing clears away debris, but without a ward, new energy creeps in immediately. So warding after cleansing your whole entire home, that's what you asked me earlier, Shanti. So you can redo your red brick dust, your salt, whatever you want to do. You can sprinkle salt water along the baseboards after a cleansing and praying while you're doing it. So another time to ward is in high traffic or chaotic environments. So this is apartment hallways. And yes, if you live in apartments, when I lived in an apartment, I was saging everybody's shit. Like I was going to other people's doors and saging their stuff. Don't get on nobody's nerves, but you can, y'all see that video of that woman riding her bike around her neighborhood, saging the neighborhood. You can do stuff like that. Shared spaces carry other people's energies constantly, so a ward prevents spillover into your life. So a protective broom, basically y'all know those cinnamon brooms? You can put those above your door, or put it in the corner of a shared hallway, like in front of your door, outside of your house, is what I'm talking about. And every time you see it, you'll remember that the room is sealed. So every time somebody with bad intentions or people walking in the hallway being loud and stuff like that, that energy never touches you. And this is outside of your doorway. When you're facing known hostility, so if somebody has spoken against you, worked against you, or simply carries heavy malice, a ward gives your space teeth. Remember, I told y'all iron bites back. So if you are using iron, because I don't think I mentioned this, I did tell you that it bites, but when people attack you and you have an iron ward, it bites them back. Okay? That's why I have iron everywhere. But you can use iron spikes, nailed, buried into the four corners of your property. Their job is basically to bite down and pin down anything hostile that tries to cross you, basically. A cinnamon broom, yes, you can. I used to have a cinnamon broom inside my front door. What did I do with it? I might have thrown it away when I moved to this house. But I have a little bitty one hanging above. You can't see it up there. A little bitty one. So those are wards. Next, we'll be going into cloaking. I told y'all this class is long. So this is the last section, because I told you I'm only doing 3. Cloaking is the last thing. Did anybody have any questions about wards? And if you downloaded these, we are on this page now. Cloaking and concealment. I can't go back and go over something I've already went over because the class is so long. However, at the end of the class, after I finish this, because I don't want to keep people on here too long, I will go back over it. Just save that question for the end, because that's a lot. That section is actually long, the plant one. And if you downloaded this, it actually has all of that in there. If you go to my website and download this, it goes over the plants on here, and then when you get to the systems, it goes over plants again. These systems. It goes over the entire shield system that I just went over. It goes over the ward system and the cloaking system. What else? And then I did a combination too, how you can combine all of them. It goes over that and how you can create your own system basically. And then it also has case studies and ritual examples. So I give y'all step-by-step rituals. They're just the blueprint. They're not the house. I tell y'all that all the time. So you will have to put your extra oomph into them in order to change the blueprint into a house. But good night, sis. Love you. A lot of my siblings be on here. These are my real life blood siblings too. Okay, so we're going to go over cloaking. Cloaking is not as long because it's very, very simple. That's why I saved it for last. It's long, but it's not as long as these other ones that we've been doing. Oh, let me move this over here. We're on this side of the board now. I had ran out of space. That's why that's just thrown up there. When you go to my website and you go to the menu button, it's called free PDFs. It's on there. And then it's the very last one that I posted. So scroll all the way down to the bottom and it's the last one. And at the end of the class, I'm actually going to go over some of these rituals. I'm going to go over all of that. Thank you so much, Mama Black. Have a good one. Okay, so cloaking is a form of protection that works differently than both shielding and warding. A shield is built to deflect like a bubble, like I told y'all earlier. A ward is anchored to a space. And cloaking, however, makes you less visible. So instead of pushing energy away or lowering, pushing your energy away, you are lowering your vibrational signature. So that energy away, you are lowering your vibrational signature. So that harmful eyes or spirits simply do not even notice you. They like go right past you. So cloaking is about concealment. You are still present. You are still powerful. It does not mess with your power at all, but it just makes sure that you're hidden in plain sight. Thank y'all for helping people in the chat for me. Does it help with what, Walla? Thank you for, Jules has came in. I was telling y'all earlier about my necklace. She's the one who made it. If y'all were here earlier in the chat. So definitely follow her. She makes dope jewelry. Okay. Oh, yes. Sound frequencies, waves. I went over that early in the class. But it actually goes over that in the class recap that I just put up. If you did miss about sound waves and how basically frequencies help meditation, but you can go on YouTube. Let me see. Oh, yay. And you know, my oil of gladness is the exact same recipe from the Bible, Exodus. I use the exact same recipe. So we're going over cloaking. So cloaking doesn't put a wall up. It actually lowers and redirects your signal so that others don't notice it, or notice you in the first place. So spiritually, it is the art of being present but unseen, of moving in such a way that you don't even register as a target to people. Scientifically, this works through something that's called resonance mismatch. So energy attaches, but by finding a match. And this is part of the law of resonance, by the way. But energy attaches to whatever matches its frequency. So if someone is looking for anger, they're locked onto anger. If they are searching for a loud, bright vibration, they notice the person that's radiating that the most. So cloaking changes your vibration so it doesn't match what a predator is seeking. You stop broadcasting on the station that they're in tuned to, basically. In Hoodoo and across other African diasporic traditions, cloaking has always been a survival tool. Enslaved people learned how to blend into the background when danger was near, how to move unnoticed when escape. Cloaking was very, very important in Hoodoo. When necessary, and how to speak in ways that concealed their true meaning from overseers, especially when they were practicing their spiritual beliefs. So spiritually, this translation into practices of veiling, because you might have heard cloaking being called veiling yourself. So usually certain colors of clothing reduce noise, speaking prayers silently instead of out loud, or carrying protective charms that muffle their presence was practiced heavily by enslaved Americans, African Americans. So none of these erased the person's Ashe. They just simply kept their Ashe from shining so bright that predators could lock on to it. So there are different types of cloaking and concealment. One way cloaking works is by dimming the natural light of your electromagnetic field, your energy field, your aura, whatever you want to call it. Your crown especially shines with a strong frequency. What a lot of people call your ori or your head, that is the thing that you need to cloak the most, is your head. And that's why you see a lot of spiritual practitioners that keep their heads covered, especially when they're working. Where was I? Because I had got off track. I added that in. Okay, so when we talk about dimming your signal and your crown, especially because it shines so bright, covering your head with a wrap, a scarf, or a hat softens their shine. Even a wig. If you want to wear a wig, that is considered a head covering. Spiritually, veiling protects your most sensitive entry points. That's the whole purpose of it. Scientifically, fabric is a conductor, and I went over the fabrics, and it's also in that chart that is in the student companion. So it alters how electrical charges and heat radiate from your body, so making your field quieter. So even color matters. So I told y'all earlier, white reflects, black absorbs, red grounds, blue calms. So when you choose muted tones, your field blends instead of broadcast your Ashe. Then you get to blending into the background. That is another type of cloaking or veiling. Cloaking can also mean blending into whatever is around you. So spiritually, this is about softening your aura until it matches the background noise of a room. So have y'all ever heard of entrainment? That's when your nervous system like syncs with the rhythm of its environment. So instead of standing out, you intentionally move slower, you speak softer, and you mirror the calmest energy in the room. This actually lowers the chance that people will even notice that you're in the room. I should have put entrainment in the student companion, but I didn't. But if y'all want to look up that word and look up the research behind it, I'll spell it on the board so y'all can look it up, because I definitely did not put it in the student companion. That's how it's, oh, can you even see that? I'll put it on the part of the board I'm not even on. Entrainment at the top right here. Okay, so another type of cloaking is redirecting attention, so another form. So sometimes the goal isn't really to disappear, but to make energy skip over you. So spiritually, mirrors, powders. When have y'all ever seen a practitioner that has the egg powder on their forehead? That's what they're doing. That's redirecting attention. So you can do it with mirrors, powders, reflective charms. They can push attention away. Scientifically, reflective surfaces actually scatter light and vibration, making it harder to focus on the original source. Another type is digital cloaking. This cloaking isn't really physical. So you know we live in the digital age now. So a lot of stuff happens online. Spiritually, your presence in a digital space is still an energetic field. Everything is energy, especially on the internet. So cloaking on the internet means delaying posts. Like I told y'all earlier, do not post your work until after it's hit. Do not post it while it's still working, okay? Post only what you choose to be seen. Make sure you pay attention to what's showing in your background. Like I told y'all before, y'all can put cloaking rituals and stuff on your videos and make them transparent in Canva, whatever you use. But that's a type of cloaking. So delaying post, posting only what you choose to be seen. Setting privacy filters is another one. Scientifically, this is information management. So you're controlling the frequencies of data that are available to be picked up on, okay? So spirit responds to data the same way that it responds to matter. We are living in a digital age. The digital space is still spiritual, because at the end of the day, all of this is energy. A different type of energy, but it's still energy. So if there's less for hostile eyes to see, there is less energy for them to attach to. And then silence and stillness is a type of cloaking. So being quiet and not moving. Putting your energy inward, not reacting to things. So stress signals like raised voices, fast breathing, and sudden movements all spike your nervous system and make you more noticeable. Silence and stillness actually lowers your broadcast. So silence itself is actually a type of cloak. Okay, so I want y'all to remember that every person vibrates at a certain frequency. I went over that earlier in the class, the bioelectromagnetic field. Everybody has that. So when two frequencies are close, they resonate and amplify each other, making the signal stronger. And I told y'all that y'all go at least 6 feet outside of your body. So if you are within 6 feet of somebody, you're resonating with their field as well. And when you cloak, that signal is actually harder to detect. It's harder for them to detect your signal. So it's like walking into a crowded room and keeping your voice quiet while other people are shouting. That's what cloaking is. And then I want to really go over veiling your head again. Let me see. So, because a lot of people do not know why we cover our heads. even though I've said it, because veiling your head is actually a type of shield as well, so I went over this already. But the crown of your head is one of the brightest energetic gateways in your body, and that is how people actually enter. Like when people throw stuff at you, the first place it's going to enter is your head, okay? So remember that it is the brightest energetic gateway to your body. So science shows that the brain emits strong electromagnetic waves, especially from the crown area, and that's the top of your head. So covering the head with fabric dampens how much heat and charge radiates outwards, making your field quieter. So not only can it be a shield, it also can be a cloak. So spiritually veiling is saying, I own my crown and you cannot read or reach it. So when you wrap your head with cotton or wool, if you want grounding, okay? Linen, if you want a higher, more spiritual frequency. So when we wrap our head in white linen, we're usually reading someone, doing some type of divination. We're heightening, okay? But if you want to like ground yourself and like really cloak yourself, it's cotton or wool. If you're going to bed, you can use silk or something like that, because silk actually calms you. But for cloaking, cotton or wool. And then you want to use dark colors like black, brown, things like that for a stronger concealment. Or muted tones like gray is a good one, navy, a soft green, anything that like really blends you into the background. So I went over the cloth already, but I can go over them again. And it's also in the student companion. But color is frequency, so every color is a wave length of light. I went over this in shielding, but you can also use colors to cloak. I told you cotton grounds, wool insulates, goodness. Linen has a very, very high frequency. I told y'all they did studies and it has like 5,000 hertz. So it raises your vibration above static. Silk smooths and regulates your energy, creating a calm flow. So if you're going through something chaotic, wrap your head in silk. Black, brown, earth tones, gray, navy, blue. And if you want to wear white, white actually amplifies. So if you're trying to cloak, do not wear white. Okay? So, when and why to use cloaking. Thank you, Shanti. We're almost done, too. And then, if y'all want to, we can go over the case studies and the rituals, and I can go through the student companion with y'all and walk y'all through it. So, when and why to use cloaking. So, entering hostile environments, that's like one of the main reasons. So if you know you're walking into a space where you are unwanted or maybe targeted, cloaking makes you less visible. So veil your head, wear neutral colors, breathe quietly, speak inwardly, match the vibration of the quietest person in the room. During spiritual conflict, so that's when somebody is attacking you or something like that. So when you suspect someone is working against you, sometimes the best defense is not to be a visible target, so become invisible. Online digital spaces, so social media exposes you to strangers, projections, evil, malice. Some of the most evil people are online. I tell you, I see some of the most evil shit when I log on. That's why I rarely even scroll anymore. So cloaking keeps you visible, keeps you invisible to your enemies, invisible to your allies. So post less frequency, switch privacy settings, change your profile picture, your username, sometimes praying over your digital presence before logging on, things like that. At work or school, to avoid unnecessary conflict, envy, or identity theft, cloaking makes you appear ordinary while you continue your work. So speak slower and softer, wear muted colors, and carry a protective charm, stuff like that. While traveling, oh, did I cut that one off? Well, I did. Oh, did I cut that one off? Well, I did cut it off. Did it freeze, y'all? My phone about to die. Hold on. It's because that notification that my phone is about to die popped up. So, when you're traveling, so you want to move with calm, have neutral body language, especially if you are African American and traveling through places like Arkansas, where you have to watch what town you drive into. Avoid loud conversation, wear modest clothing. So you can spiritually recite a cloaking prayer before you leave the house. You can, who's a good one? Dr. Buzzard. You can work with him in your car, especially if you are somebody who is melanated driving through places like Arkansas. You can put, talking too much, but yes, you can work with certain spirits, have them over your car. When you're healing or in recovery, so during grief, illness, or in deep spiritual work, your field is actually softer. So cloaking protects you by keeping you unnoticed while you rebuild your Ashe. So you can reduce your social exposure, veil your head, and carry a small mirror charm facing outward to reflect attention. Protecting secrets or workings. So some prayers, rituals, and intentions need to stay hidden until they manifest. And that's what I told y'all. Do not post your work until it's hit or it's been months or years later. And it's not charging, Lene. I'm just now seeing your comment. So that is cloaking. So up until this point, we've studied shields, wards, and cloakings as if they were separate, but you can actually practice all of this together and you can layer your protection. They actually work best together. That's why I picked these three specifically, because you can actually layer them. Even though there's other different types of protection, these three are the best together. So like layers of clothing, they keep you warm in the winter. These are like your immune system that uses skin, white blood cells, and antibodies. I can't talk tonight, y'all. To cover the body on multiple levels. So spiritual level, physical level, and then the maintenance that you see up there. So each layer serves as a different function, and when you combine them, they form a complete system that preserves your Ashe. And that's exactly what those case studies and stuff is going to show you in the student companion. So every system, wait, okay, my bad, I skipped a part. So when you're layering, it might look like, I'm going to give you an example. So a shield raised before you leave the house, a ward fixed at the doorway to guard your space while you're gone, and a cloak set when you know you must pass through a hostile environment, especially if you're going to work or something like that. So each layer covers what the other does not. The shields are quick but short-lived, the wards are steady but stationary, and the cloaks are subtle but selective. So together They offer both immediate and ongoing protection. The logic here is resonance, the law of resonance that I went over. The more frequencies you anchor into your field, in your environment, the fewer openings you have for people to harm you, for things to harm you. So every system also needs hygiene and refreshing cycles, and that's the maintenance. That's the number 3. Just as you would not wear the same clothes forever without washing them, protection must be cleansed and renewed. So a shield that is not re-raised loses its coherence. It's making me do the puzzle thing. Okay. It loses its coherence. A ward that is never refreshed with a wash or a new brick dust or salt, whatever you choose, will weaken. A cloak that is worn too long can blur your alignment and even isolate you from help. So protection is a rhythm, the law of rhythm. Cleansing with smoke or water resets your field. Re-speaking your prayers sharpens the edge of your ward, and recentering your cloak keeps it from stagnating. So hygiene is not just maintenance, it's a spiritual respect, a way of honoring your Ashe that you have charged to Ashe. I'm saying you have charged to serve you. I said charge to Ashe. And divination is also a part of building your protection system. So divination actually checks and physically confirms and ensures that your protections are not just assumed. Okay? So divination, whether you can use cards, bones, prayerful intention, you can use your dreams. If you do not have the gift of divination, you can reach out to somebody, but they can basically reveal where your system is strong and where gaps exist. And I can give you an example. Let's say you have a reading that might show that your shield is holding, but your ward at your doorway has gone dull. And you do this by pulling cards or however you do your divination. Physical confirmations matter too. So a protective plant suddenly wilting, a mirror falling. That's how you know a mirror has been hit, because you'll come home one day and it's laying on your front porch broken and shattered. A nail rusting faster than it's supposed to. These are all signs that your protection, that's a type of divination too. Reading signs and symbols around you, that's a type of divination. They're all signs that your protection has absorbed impact and needs attention. So spirit speaks through both subtle divination and obvious matter, physical matter that you can see, like a plant suddenly dying. So listening to both keeps your systems alive and responsive. Placing a word or over yourself, you can do that. I've never taught it, but you can do that. This class is actually a master class. What y'all are getting right now is actually the short version of this class. The class that I'm teaching you now is usually 3 to 7 days. So there is a master class that goes over way more. And it seems like I went over a lot right now, but this is actually just the blueprint. It's not actual. But anyway, this class is way longer than this. But y'all are getting the short version for the TikTok live. So, I went over divination checks. So, what are we on now? So, responsibility and authority, okay? So, when you're building a protection system, it does require responsibility. So, protection is not just about locking yourself into a fortress. It's not about being scared. It's about setting boundaries with confidence, authority, okay? So, authority means that you understand the laws at play. That is the universal laws. Like, if you understand natural law, you have authority. If you know how to apply them, you can be unstoppable, okay? It's important to learn the natural laws. So fear weakens the field because it scatters your Ashe, your energy field, your aura, whatever you call it based on your belief system. So authority strengthens it because it aligns it with attention. So your biofield or your aura and must be in alignment with your intentions and activation into clear work. So not only do you have to have the intention, not only do you have to have the Ashe, but you also have to do the work, is basically what I'm saying. So being responsible means to actually do the work. It also means having discernment, knowing when to shield, when to ward, when to cloak, and when to just simply stand still. Because remember, I told y'all, stillness and silence will go a long way. So not every situation calls for every tool, and not every problem requires confrontation. A mature system of protection is one that is both strong, wise, firm, and flexible. So responsibility is very, very important. And when you start building your own systems and you're not copying rituals or, chasing superstitions, you actually learn the science behind why magic actually works. Because a lot of people think that magic is this like woo-hoo thing, but it's actually science. So once you understand that and you're not chasing or copying rituals, you can start creating your own protection systems. And when you do that, you're actually creating a living pattern. Like I told you, we believe everything is alive, even theories. That's a part of animism. So that is the end of the class. If y'all want me to go over the student companions, the case studies, and the rituals, because I know it's late, let me know. Anybody have any questions? And if you did print this out, because I don't think I showed y'all. Concealment, the laws. There's this one, when to use your protection systems. This is on my page as well, because I think I forgot to show y'all that one. You're welcome. Oh, y'all said yes. I'm just not seeing that. Let me get my chair because I'm going to sit down for this. My feet hurt. There is a guide to the class that tells you the science. Like all of this, even the rituals, and y'all are finna see because I'm finna read some of it to you. It tells you the science and the spiritual in here. I always do that. Because what's the point of teaching somebody the magic if you're not going to tell them how and why it works? Because they're not going to be able to implement it. And a lot of people do that on purpose. When they're teaching you, they teach you how to do something, but they don't tell you why it works on purpose because they want you to remain stagnant. They don't want you to surpass them. So you have to be careful when you're learning from somebody and they don't tell you the science behind why it is working. You're welcome. So, I'm going to go over. So, the student companion has the class recap. I told you it has the protective elements reference. And that's this page. It has the system. And the systems tells you what it is, when to use it, how to build it, and how to upkeep it. And that's what we just went over. And then I even threw in how to combine them. That's on here too. And so when we get into the case studies, I'm going to read the disclaimer real quick. Thank you so much. And yes, that's part of being a Virgo, is being organized. Everything is organized and color-coded, including my filing cabinet. The download is on my website, so you go to the link in my bio, the link tree. It's the very first link on my link tree. It'll take you to my website. When you get to my website, click the menu bar. Depending on what your phone is what it'll look like, but it's the menu bar. And you go to free PDF downloads, and it'll have the downloads from the last 3 classes. So the very last one is today's. I teach every other weekend, so I won't teach next weekend. Plus, it's my birthday. My birthday is on Thursday. But, so I'm going to be lit this weekend. I'm not going to be able to teach nobody by the time I make it. But anyway, so it won't be this coming weekend. It's the weekend after that. Thank y'all. Thank y'all. You're using an iPhone? Okay, so it'll look like a regular menu bar for you. So it'll be the 3 lines. So click those 3 lines in the top left part of the corner. Thank you. And it'll take you to free PDF. But I have your phone number, so I'll just send you the direct link. I can send you the PDF straight to your phone, so you don't have to do all that. Nietzsche. Okay. You're welcome, boo. Yay, Shanti made it home. And if y'all didn't know, Shanti is actually my personal assistant. So, and she is the mastermind and brains behind my Patreon, because I was lost as hell. I've never used Patreon before. So if you ever even wrote me on Patreon, she's the one who always answers y'all. And my group. So she basically handles all of that. But she's dope. Okay. So back to what we were talking about. The case studies. I'm going to read the disclaimer really quick before we get started. So, the case studies, scenarios, and rituals in this companion are offered as skeletons, frameworks to help you understand how protection systems can be applied in daily life. They are blueprints, but not finished houses. So please remember to use that true power comes when you add your own Ashe, your own spirits, and your own belief systems into the work. So use these examples as starting points to spark your practice, but always adapt them to your tradition, your guidance, and your lived experiences. No ritual is complete until it is yours, okay? So I'm going to go over these case studies. The very first one is shielding before a live class. The scenario for this one is you are preparing to go live on TikTok to teach a class. In past lives, you have had trolls flood your comments. You felt drained afterwards, and sometimes you even carry the heaviness of other people's projections into your evening. You don't want to cancel your visibility, but you also don't want your Ashe to leak every time you show up. This is the perfect moment for a shield. So, the energetic logic behind this, when you go live, your Ashe is radiating outwards. You are literally broadcasting your vibration without a shield. That's why y'all really don't see me in the screen much. Like, I'll pop in here every now and then, but you really don't see me on the screen much, and that's why. So without a shield, your field is porous. You can absorb viewers' emotions, envy, or hostility. A shield works here because it's temporary and it reconfigures your bioelectrical field into a coherent protective pattern. It creates a bubble that allows your teaching energy to flow out while preventing harmful energy from flowing in. And that's actually the law of vibration. It ensures your frequency is set to repel misaligned energy, and the law of cause and effect ensures anyone who tries to send harm simply meets their own reflection. So the ritual, all of these case studies come with a ritual. So what is she going to do? And for this one, the intention is the law of mentalism. So this ritual example is called Rapid Pre-Live Shield. So the law of mentalism is when you basically make a statement and you say it out loud. So thought becomes word, word becomes. Remember that. So you can say out loud, I teach from clarity and authority. Only aligned eyes and ears may reach me. All others are filtered out. So the Ashe sources for this, which is the vibration and the correspondence, is breath work to charge and stabilize your field, a protective oil, either rosemary, hyssop, or rue, or you can blend them together. A mirror or reflective surface. This is what I use. And this ritual example is actually what I do before every live. Okay. So this one is based off of me. So the reflective mirror or surface, like I showed y'all earlier, I use an obsidian mirror. Prayer, usually Psalms 91 to create a verbal shield. So this is when we get into the activation, and this is the law of action and cause and effect. So I start by centering breathing. So you sit with your phone or camera, it depends on what you're using, for the moment, and you inhale through your nose for 4 counts. So exhale for 6 times, and you're going to repeat this, for 6 seconds. And you're going to repeat this 7 times. You visualize each exhale inflating and glowing an orange bubble around you. And that's why this class is orange. And then you're going to anoint your points. So dab protective oil on your forehead, your throat, and both palms, and speak, my thoughts, words, and works are sealed. This directs your field to close its major entry points, which are your head, your throat, and your palms, your hands. And then you're going to place a small mirror or reflective object near the camera lens facing outward. And then you're going to pray into this mirror. What comes with malice returns untouched. Let only light pass through. This programs your mirror and your field with a return mechanism. And you don't have to use those exact words. Like I told y'all, this is the skeleton, and this is not even exactly what I do, but it's very similar. And then you can recite a Psalms or a prayer. Speak Psalms 91 out loud or your chosen prayer, and let your voice vibrate in your chest. So that means you actually feel your chest vibrating when you're saying it. Each word layers resonance onto your shield, creating a membrane that only aligned vibrations can cross. So then you're going to do a digital filter. Like if you can't tell, there is a filter on here. It's just very neutral, so you can't tell. So on TikTok, you can activate comment filters. You can actually do a actual filter. You can mute known disruptors. That's blocking, and I've already done that. I've blocked so many people. And you set your live audience preferences. So you say out loud while you're clicking, what I choose online, I also choose in spirit. This ties the digital and spiritual shields together. The closing gesture is standing or sitting tall, drawing a circle in the air, or with your right hand. I clap. Clapping is something that I do 3 times and say, it is sealed. Feel the bubble around you firm up. You should be able to feel, like if you do this in practice, you will eventually be able to feel when the shield comes up. This is something that is done in practice. You have to keep, and then based on your belief system, you're going to change this ritual into something for you. The aftercare, so when the live ends, close the shield so you don't carry it unnecessarily. So you're going to clap 3 times again to take the shield away, or it's going to continue to drain you in your sleep, okay? Especially if you're doing it at night. Wipe your hands with salt water or Florida water and say, I release the shield. My Ashe is whole. This resets your field and prevents energy from stagnating. So why does this work? Breathing regulates your nervous system, creating coherence in your bioelectrical field. The oil charges and programs the gateways of your body. And I use Fiery Wall of Protection oil, by the way. I don't think I told y'all that. The mirror sets the reflective principle of cause and effect. Psalms vibrate your field with protective words and resonates both spiritually and physically, and the digital filters anchor the protection into the platform itself, making the shield both metaphysical and practical. So this shield will hold up for the duration of your life, and then it will naturally fade. And that's actually the beauty of shields. They are immediate, effective, and perfect for short-term situations where you need your Ashe to be preserved. Does anybody have any questions? Because the next one is going to be anchoring a ward at the threshold of a new apartment. And then another one, what's the other one? It's cloaking in the workplace. Then the rest of them are just scenarios that happen in everyday life and rituals that you can do. And I probably won't go over those because it's about to be 11 o'clock. And I have to get up early in the morning and do my daughter's hair. What comes with, oh, the prayer. Let me go back. And you know, this is a printout that y'all can print off of my website. I'm reading the Student Companion. I don't think I said anything about malice. I said I teach from clarity and authority. Only aligned eyes and ears may reach me. All others are filtered out. The other one was my thoughts, words, and works are sealed. What I choose online, I also choose in spirit. That's it. If you go to my bio and click my link tree, the very first link will take you to my website, and then you go to the menu bar and go to free PDF download. Yes, you can. If you are wanting to protect your car, I suggest that you use a ward and not a shield. Wards last longer. You won't have to keep refreshing it as much. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. So we're going to do anchoring a ward at a threshold of an apartment. Keeps impersonating me with fake pages. Somebody's doing the same thing to me, but I think I scared them because they blocked me after I inboxed them something. But yeah, somebody has been pretending to be me and taking people's money, but I do not reach out to people at all. Like, you will never catch me in anybody's inbox soliciting. So if y'all see somebody inboxing y'all, it's not me, I promise. Okay. Yes. Definitely disarm the previous owner's wards. Like if it was a practitioner in there and they have wards up, I would definitely strip your entire house. And best way to strip is to use salt, sea salt. Let me drink some. Okay, so you moved into a new apartment. The hallway is busy with strangers passing by, and one neighbor has already shown hostility towards you. Loud arguments, strange looks, and the energy just doesn't feel right. Even though you've cleansed the space, the doorway still feels exposed, like anything could drift in. So, this is an ideal place for a ward. And like I told y'all, a ward is rooted, anchored protection, guarding an environment. So the energetic logic behind this is where shields are like umbrellas, wards are like fences. So working by anchoring your Ashe into the environment so the space itself enforces the rules that you set. This is the law of rhythm. I told y'all that already. So each time you refresh the wash or brick line, you beat the same drum until the environment remembers its cadence. So it's like it's also the law of correspondence. What you mark on the door frame reflects in the unseen world. So minerals, plants, and symbols hold the vibration steadily. So you don't have to keep feeding it with your energy. With a ward in place, you no longer carry the stress of guarding the doorway with your own field. The home itself does the guarding for you. So that's the logic behind warding. So the ritual example of this is threshold warding with red brick, plant guardians, and ancestor posting. So the intention is the home is consecrated ground. All who enter must agree with peace. Hostility and harm may not cross this threshold. So the Ashe sources, so what we'll be using, the ingredients is red brick dust, iron nails. Red brick dust is to ground because it's iron rich. Like I told you, it has iron oxide in it. That's what turns it red. Iron nails or tacks, which anchor the field down because it bites it down. Protective plants, rosemary. Mother-in-law's tongue is snake plant, by the way, y'all. Floor wash, warm water, pine, lemon, salt, something simple. Ancestor presence, a glass of fresh water posted discreetly inside and near the door. And then Psalms 24 or Psalms 121, spoken word vibration. So you're going to cleanse first. So open the door and sweep the entryway outward into the hall. So you're going to sweep it outward. Mop or wipe down the area with pine, lemon, and salt. Pulling from the inside of the apartment outward. That clears old residue. Then you're going to lay the brick line at the inner threshold. Sprinkle fine, unbroken line of brick dust across the floorboards from one side to the other. As you lay it, whisper, only those who come in peace may cross. This creates an invisible energetic boundary. Then you're going to anchor this with iron. So you're going to place 2 small nails, tack heads, or railroad spikes discreetly in the corners of the door frame. And that's the top and the bottom, the top or the bottom. So you can put 2 at the top or 2 at the bottom. Pray, bite down on malice, hold this gate fast. Iron's physical magnetism grounds the ward. Plant guardians. So positioning rosemary or rue plants on either side of the door, touching their leaves. Remember I told y'all treat y'all plants like they are living animals, because they are. Stand, watch, drink this charge. Like, you do have to tell them what you want them to do too. You're going to talk to them and tell them what you want them to do. And if you take care of them, they will be extremely loyal to you. Post an ancestor, so place a clear glass of water just inside the door on a small table or shelf. Lightly tap the rim and call on an ancestor by name. You're going to ask them to stand guard. Do not command your ancestors. Be respectful as if they were alive, okay? Um, they are your partners, not your slaves. Seal with a psalm. So read Psalms 24, 7 through 10 at the doorway. And if you can always replace that psalm with your own prayer. Remember that, okay? You don't have to use psalms. Um, Finish with a gesture. So close the door firmly. Place your palm flat on it and breathe 3 steady breaths. 3 is important. Into the wood, and so it is fixed. Maintenance. So refresh the red brick line when it breaks or if it is crossed. Replace the plants if they wilt or yellow despite care. And if it's yellow and it's just like one leaf, just make sure you cut that off. Cut off what is yellowing. Because that's a sign they've probably taken a hit. Change ancestor water weekly. Rewash the threshold at least once a week to keep the cadence strong. Why this works. Red brick dust provides both a mineral and symbolic stop line. Iron anchors the field. Plants radiate life force and offer visual feedback. Ancestors create an intelligent, rational guard. And the Psalms adds vibration in order to weave it all together. Did I skip something? Oh, okay. I was like, what in the world? Where's the other one? Shielding, anchoring. So we're going to go over cloaking in the workplace. Did anybody have any questions about that one? Okay, that's what's wrong. Okay, I had it flipped. Yes, camphor can be used. That's actually one of my favorite scents. So, cloaking in the workplace. You've been working on a major project at your job, and a colleague has a pattern of taking credit for your ideas. Whenever you shine, they draw attention. Whenever you shine, they draw attention to you in ways that lead to conflict with supervisors or your peers. You don't want to stop doing good work, but you also don't want to keep becoming a target. So this is a moment for cloaking, lowering your energetic signature so you become unremarkable, basically, to predators, but still visible to allies. So the energetic logic behind this. Cloaking works because attention follows vibration. Just as animals use camouflage to blend into their environment, cloaking allows you to vibrate at a frequency that doesn't resonate with those seeking to harm you. In science, like I told y'all earlier, it's called resonance mismatch. So if your field isn't vibrating at the same frequency as your attacker, their energy doesn't lock on to you. So cloaking conserves Ashe by making you less noticeable instead of constantly deflecting hits. It is the art of being present without shining in a way that attracts malice. So the ritual example is veil, mirror, powder, and a silent psalm. The intention is I move unseen by those who seek to harm and seen by those who are appointed to help me. Spirit knows me, but predators cannot find me. So the sources or the ingredients for this is a head covering to soften your crown, if you can wear those at work. If not, wear a wig. Good night, Shanti. Um, Mirror powder, which is crushed eggshell powder, is basically what it is. Lightly dusted on shoes and clothing. Protective scent, frankincense, vetiver, or even unscented oil that is prayed over in Psalms 27:5 or 64. So, activation is can't talk. Prepare a veil. So before work, you're going to cover your head lightly with a scarf, a hat, or a headband. Pray over, whisper, dull my shine to those who would harm me. This acts like a dimmer. Apply mirror powder. So dab a pinch inside of your shoes or along your shoulders. Speak, reflect the hunter, reveal me only to my help. Keep in mind, y'all don't have to use these words. These are just skeletons. You're going to have to add extra elements to get this to work. So protective scent, anoint wrist or neck with your chosen oil. Each time you catch the scent, remember your intention. This recharges the cloak throughout the day. Silent songs. So as you walk into work, you repeat your prayer or the psalms. Behavioral layers. So speak slowly, sit in the background when possible, and wear neutral tones that do not attract the eye. This practical action actually matches the spiritual cloak, making your resonance blend into the environment. At the day's end, remove the head covering and washing your hands with salt water and soap. Look into the mirror. I am seen by my allies, unseen by harm. Release this cloak, and that resets your field to normal. Why this works: a veil dampens your crown energy. Mirror powder sets your field to reflect. Protective scent ties your nervous system to the cloak. Silent songs encodes vibration directly into your field. Behavioral alignment makes the cloak physically believable. And that's part of the law of correspondence. You're acting in the physical for what you want to happen in the spiritual. It's also called sympathetic magic as well. The result is that the coworker with envy or malice simply overlooks you. Your idea remains intact, but the heat around you cools. Allies and opportunities still see you because spirit, ancestors, and the divinely aligned energy cannot be cloaked away. They are always tuned in to your Ashe.